Hello everyone, and welcome to Twitch Tales episode 56. And that's right, we have music now. Thank you to our one and only Steve, aka Alan, aka Alan, aka All Anal Lan, if you deliberately misread his name, for the fantastic and epic introduction music that I feel will be befitting of Twitch Tales going forwards, and of course it is befitting of this epic day that we have ahead of us, because where did we leave off in episode 55? Well, we were about to charge in to fight with a dragon. That's basically the summary that you need. So for anyone who is binging their way through it right now, or has forgotten the previous episode, Apis has been for a while stuck in the captivity of a green dragon called Luscifrique, and finally, one at a time, Apis has picked off a couple of the dragon's main army. They've killed a giant boar, a giant crow. They have killed three of the they and their allies have killed three of the dragonborn that work for Luscifrique, and they have bided their time until such a time as the king can send a small contingent, a small battalion of fighters and warriors to tackle this dragon with Apis. Apis was just this morning taken on dragon back over to another different settlement and shown that he still has quite a large force of half-dragon creatures, as well as a half-dragon fox that is his sort of commander, the one that is making all the decisions, the tactical strategy for him. So they were shown this area somewhat for reasons I won't get into, and eventually they were taken back on dragonback to fly back to the treasure dome, let's call it, where they were keeping the slaves and captives. But on the way back, Apis, with very keen eyes from the back of this dragon, managed to see a tiny little pinprick of a bee buzzing up and down through the canopy, up and down, and getting closer and closer. And as she got closer, Apis realized she was actually a giant bee. And not only any giant bee, but Apis's longtime companion now, a giant bee called Mel. And not only that, but Mel seemingly in the last few days has been outfitted by some sort of local leatherworker by very light leather armor, a helmet that is specially designed to fit around her compound eyes and antenna, and a leather bodice, is that the right word? A leather armor of the body that will be light enough that she can fly, but also not impede her wings. She's now got a slightly higher armor class. Seeing this, Apis knows that the cavalry is finally arrived. Mel dropped down below the canopy, and they're let loose an almighty bellow from a creature something the size of a giant badger, for instance, which alerted Luscifrique's attention. Luscifrique turned his attention towards this attack, burst down through the tree line, some of the twigs and branches whipping Apis in the face. As you come charging into battle, you are aware of a particular surroundings. There are about half a dozen dwarves up close to the giant badger, this half-dragon badger that has just seemingly spewed poison over a great many people in the vicinity. They have swords drawn, they have shields out, they're in full plate mail, and their swords are glowing with a faint radiance. On each of their shield is the crest of the local king, the king of this country that you happen to be in, a king called King Damon of House Winchester. As you were flying in through the battle, you were also able to catch a glimpse of, behind the dwarves were another half dozen or so human fighters, seemingly bedecked in the same sort of outfits with full plate mail, shields, swords, the whole works of a battalion suitable for a king. Then behind the human fighters, a series of people that you recognised a little bit more personally, because unlike the king's fighters, they're not quite as decked out in the best quality equipment money can buy, but they're making up for it with heart and passion. They are the people of Fondurg that are fighting for their own town. The people from the Pencampur and Amgylshed, the Druid clan, the people from the Knights of Kavosna, the fighting faction, and the people from the Arcanists Entente, the Wizards faction. They've all turned up in great force and number to try and tackle Luscifrique. Don't worry, I will not be playing every single one of those in every round of combat. I have accounted for off-screen fighting rules, essentially, for a great deal of this fight. A lot of your allies will be more abstracted into single roles to account for the entirety of your army and Luscifrique's army, as indeed Luscifrique, charging into battle with his powers of command over the creatures of the forest, has also pulled in to the fight any creatures in the surrounding area, that is half-dragon rats, half-dragon rabbits, half-dragon squirrels, even the non-half-dragon creatures. He has command over the birds and the insects and the rodents and things. So everything is charging in, almost Civil War style, endgame style. Everybody is running in together on either sides of this battle, and the big battle is about to begin, with Apis on the back of the dragon, no less. So as you charge into battle, I have, for expediency's sake, pre-rolled everyone's initiatives except for Apis. So let me turn on your dice cam right over my face here, and I'm going to grab an Apis dice right here, and I'm going to roll for your initiative. And you have one lucky horseshoe ready to re-roll if you need to re-roll this for any particular reason. The roll is, I'm going to be nice and say that was cocked. It was definitely not a 3. That is a 10. A 10 plus your dexterity modifier of 3 takes you to a 13. So, do we want to re-roll the 10, or do we want to go with the 13 on initiative? I'm going to take 20 for initiative. Just hang on the back of this dragon and just be like, I'll start the fight in 20 minutes once I can get a good initiative. Alright. Oh, Robert's been nice. That's usually a pretty big sign that you need to be nice. You need me to be nice in order to make it work. 13's fine. Alright, let's stay with the 13 then. We have a 13 on initiative, which means that we do not go first. Your allies and the enemies at the start of the turn, the off-screen fighting essentially will go first. So as you charge in, flying down on this on the back of this this beast, let me take you over to the battle map page and show you a little of what we can see. Thank you to Tailspire for this wonderful sort of three-dimensional app here. Alright, so riding in on the back of this battle, on this back of this this dragon riding into battle is Apis Hive. As the camera whips past Apis, though, focusing on the people in front, we see a series of dwarves and fighters fighting a definitely not giant boar, but Tailspire doesn't have giant green dragon badgers, so use your imagination. A giant green dragon badger that has seemingly burst up out of the ground, almost between the two lines of dwarves and human fighters, and taking them somewhat by surprise. Unfortunately, Tailspire also has no giant bee, so this giant demon-like insectoid thing is Mel. Mel is turning around to turn and fight the green dragon boar as well. The camera whips over to the left to see that there is a green dragon rat engaging with one of the dwarven fighters over here, and further one of the dwarves has been felled by or tripped over by one of the forest denizens over in this direction over here. There are people of Fondurg fighting with various different critters abound, and the people with wizardly attributes doing their best to fight. One of the knights of the King's Guard is fighting off against a warren of green dragon rabbits, while over in this vicinity, green dragon rats start coming down from the mountainside. And finally, breaking in from the side, a single green dragon wolf is starting to make his way in as well. He starts to howl, and the green dragon rats start to run afraid of him. But they are all being commanded by Luscifrique to make their way to the battle. With the first round of combat, there is a great deal of tearing at each other and breathing gases from left, right, and centre. But one druid in particular steps up to the edge of the rock nearby. You recognise Charlie, as Charlie seems to spread with a great sweeping motion, a huge amounts of leaf litter and detritus mixed in with herbs, incense, and rare materials that he spreads to the wind. They seem to catch in the wind and swirl around. As they swirl, there is as though from a great distance, a roar from a bear. This great roaring rumbles closer and closer, and at the same time there seems to also be this screeching from some kind of bird of prey. And looking above Charlie, almost coming out of the sky from the wrong direction of the current time of day, the sun should not be behind him, but it seems to glow for a moment as though he is backlit by sun. As the roaring bear and the screeching owl get closer and closer, you see a flash of light. This owl seems to apparate celestial light from above him. This bear seems to apparate celestial light from below. And as the two of them meet in the centre, stepping out from this blinding flash of light, this large owl bear takes to the field. And I will have my good friend, Dreaded GM, join us on the battlefield for the first time. Definitely didn't need a few takes of that. Hi, Josh!
Hello, it's happening! Let's go!
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us. We are finally doing the long-awaited, long-promised crossover episode between Apis and Coda the Owlbear, promised way back during the World Wildlife Fund charity stream on your channel.
That's it.
Which I believe, by the time this comes out, it will definitely be viewable on your channel, right?
Yes, it definitely will be viewable.
I'm giving you a deadline so that when this episode comes out, people can then go, who's Coda? And then they can go back and they can watch Coda's Big Day Out.
It was great. It was so good.
It was a fantastic episode.
Yeah.
We were all animals, and we were helping Coda on her big day out. It was a great episode, and back during that charity stream, we promised that there would be some sort of a Twitch Tales crossover Coda thing, and here it is. Coda has joined us for the epic battle with Luscifrique. So I will have Coda roll initiative for me, please, while I add Apis to the initiative order, which was between Mel and the allies. The ally is Briar, by the way.
Briar. What a machine.
All right, so give me a roll. You can roll in person. That's fine. Yep, initiative for Coda. Coda is using the stats of the warrior sidekick. By the way, for anyone who's listened to my Robert Reeds of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, there was an introduction of how to use sidekicks, and we used that.
It's going to be an 8.
An 8 for your ally, which is, I'm going to put it as a U. You can read U on the thing here, because I've got Luscifrique up here, I've got Mel, I've got Apis, I've got ally, which stands for Briar, and then you are you, Dread.
Awesome. I love it.
All right. The top of the round is enemies and allies doing their thing. So how I've basically done it, I'm not going to bore you with the the dreaded 8, yes. I'm not going to bore you with the specific details of how I've accounted for all of the off-screen fighting, but suffice it to say that I have given them both your army and their army have started at 100%, minus any of the big generals and things that you managed to take out. So in your time, in the last arc of this campaign, you have killed the giant boar, you've killed the giant crow, you've killed the 3 dragonborn. So there's 5 things that have been reduced, not just 1 to 1. Some of them are worth a few more percentage. Again, I won't go into the maths behind it. But the dragon army is not starting at 100% because you killed those things. Had you gone out and killed more of them, had you tracked out the hedgehog, the giant badger, the other giant animals that you didn't even know that he had, had you done any reconnaissance and worked out what he has and tracked them out, killed them one individually, that sort of thing, you would have been starting this fight on more of an advantage. The every amount of damage that each of the sides does to the other one is represented abstractly by a single roll of a d4, and then if they roll above their current percentage, they get to roll again as well. All that sort of thing. There's some maths goes into it. I'm not going to bore you with it. I can do that on a behind the screens table talk Twitch Tales episode at some point if that's something that people would be interested in. But at the start of the session, the bad guy enemies get to go first and subtract 4 points from the enemy of their enemies, your allies. So as they subtract 4 points, what that looks like is that the rats and squirrels and birds, green dragon creatures, manage to subtract. They manage to swoop in and get the bit of a drop on a few of the people towards the back of the army, and manage to get a few claw scratches. And there's nobody in particular that is taken out yet. That happens at particular stages of as they get down through the percentages. Your allies will start to drop. But currently they're at 96%, and then we roll a percentile to see if they're above that amount and get to retract any more. They do not, 88. So they managed to get a little bit of a drop. All right, and then it is your allies' turn. Oh, also managed to get 4. So they are down to... All right, and then they roll above to see if they can get above that. They do not, 64%. All right, so each team, some of your allies turn and strike across a couple of the half-dragon creatures, taking them out, but noticing that there is an onslaught coming even quicker. Let me explain a little more of set the battlefield for you before it comes around to the beginning of Luscifrique's turn. You see that actually, let's go back even further than that. You see that of the druids on the battlefield, as making up your ally contingency, is Polython, the elven head of the druid guild. She is an elf and a druid of what level you're not sure, but she's probably the most powerful druid that Fondurg has anyway. Then there is Charlie, who is also a relatively powerful druid. Then there is Briar and Mark. Briar is the only one who will actually be joining you as an ally as well during the fight. Essentially how it's going to work is you, Mel, Briar, and Coda will be fighting against Luscifrique. And everybody else will be fighting against everything else. Then from the Wizards Guild, the Arcanists Entente, you have Vala, who is in charge there. A human evocation wizard, specializes in blood magic and fire magic and other things. And Rebecca, an illusion wizard, who is a hobbledehoy, a half-hobbit, half-human hybrid. Then we have from the Knights of Kavosna, the actual warriors of Fondurg, we have Nathine, who is a gnome wolverine champion, a Maeve, who is an elven badger samurai. We've got Victoria, who is a human badger echo knight, Ellie, who is a gnome badger battlemaster, and Yibble, who is a gnome badger eldritch knight. They are not of greatly high level because they are mainly just town guards, but they are willing to make up for it in heart what they are lacking in experience. The order of events, the baddies and goodies will go at the top of any round. The baddies include rats, wolves, owls, rabbits, each with green scales. They are tearing through the forest from all directions, bursting from the leaf litter and the canopy and the trees, charging towards the fight. Even the non-dragon scaled beasts will start to turn and dive bomb and charge, scratch and claw at the humanoids. As for the good armies, the army is relatively ready for it. They have come in knowing exactly what they're getting themselves into. The fighters, as you see them approach, the fighters will drop to their knees as the druids from behind start blasting out creatures with a sudden and forceful change in the wind. They are preparing for combating the poisonous breath from these creatures by using wind magic as the druids to try and swirl and disperse this poisonous gas as quickly as they can. Then, as needed, the druids will be dropping the wind spells in favour of healing magic to try and keep the fighters alive. The dwarves will rush into the front to tank the poison breath attacks, as they are from the the resilience division of the Royal Cross, as is the King's Army known. They are from the Resilience Division, dwarven fighters, hill dwarven fighters who are bred particularly because of their high constitution, their high resistance to poison, their high hit points, essentially. So they will be tanking the poison as much as they can at the front. Each of the fighters and the people of Fondurg have also been supplied with poison poison resistance potions, as per the king's treasury, the king's collection, there's a word for it, I'm sure. The king's own supply. He has supplied the fighters with poison breath resistance potions. The dwarves will tank the poison breath that makes it through the wind wall. The human fighters will, you notice, are already dropping to their knees, setting up portable ballista. You recognise these ballista as the ones that were taken from the walls from the town of Fondurg, the ones that you provided them with manticore heads for their arrow tips. The reserves, thank you, that's the word I was looking for, the king's reserves. You notice the ballista bolts on these small ballista, barely larger than a heavy crossbow, have been tipped with the manticore heads that you provided to give them extra bonuses to their armor-piercing nature of them. They're going to take aim at the dragon and fire. As Vala and Rebecca, the wizards, are conjuring protection spells around people on the battlefield to aid them in resistance against physical damage, the knights are falling in behind the Royal Cross, ready to show these well-trained elite how heart can make up for lack of experience. Polython stands, and as the dragon swoops into the battlefield, she releases her held action to cast Earthbind on Luscifrique. From beneath Luscifrique, flying into this battle... Let me scroll back and see Luscifrique, because this is a pretty epic moment. As we see Luscifrique flying in and Apis riding on the back, barely able to hold on from his fury. These yellow bands burst from beneath the leaf litter and seem to try and grasp and grapple over every inch of Luscifrique's body, pulling him to the ground. He must make a strength saving throw or be pulled prone for the duration of the spell. Let's see if he does it. Ooh, I think that's going to do it. I think he's going to do it. Now, where did I leave his stats? I've got so many windows open right now. I need... let me close any non...
You live in that GM line.
Ones. I know. I thought 2 screens would be fine. It seems like I need like 3 or even 4. Sometimes I've got so many screens open.
Yeah.
All right, let me open up my...
Especially with the introduction of Tailspire as well.
Yeah, I know. I've now got Tailspire to be hanging out with. Yeah. All right, Luscifrique. Let me scroll down to the bottom where he is. There he is. His strength saving throw, that takes it to a 20. Unfortunately, 20 will succeed. So Luscifrique will succeed on this. However, as he attempts to succeed, Vala, who is one of the Arcanists Entente, one of the wizards from that guild, will drop her protection spell that she was doing on one of the Knights of the Royal Cross, and instead shoots her hand forwards, and out of the palm, like icicles, fire forwards. This silvery touch to them as they strike across his body, hitting particular muscles to try and soften his blow. She's going to cast silvery barbs to prevent make him roll again.
Silvery barbs, and love it.
He rolls again and gets a 16, and 16 for Polython's save is not enough. He needed a 17. So with silvery barbs, these tendrils reach out, they grab onto Luscifrique, and then they drag him to the ground. Not that one, this one. He is dragged down to the ground, as is Apis. As he comes scraping in, probably the momentum dragging him forwards, he is, for the time being anyway, dragged into battle, prone on the ground. She then whips over and gives the advantage that comes from that to Polython, so that she can hopefully concentrate on this spell for longer. As Luscifrique slams into the battle, realizing he is no longer able to fly, being held down by these yellow bands, his first action on his turn will be... Well, actually, right before his turn, his lair action comes up. He is not happy about this situation, and he wants to save himself. He is going to conjure, much like you've seen him doing with the maze around the bush for setting up the fights. He's going to conjure a wall of vegetation separating the fighters from him and separating the fighters from you, trapping your allies on one side and him on the other. Oh, I didn't point out before when I was showing off the battlefield where Briar is as well. So let me do that. Briar is this tiny little lady right here. She's such a tiny little lady. I made her the smallest that Tails Briar can possibly do, because she's not only a hobbit, but she's 2 foot tall, which is short even for a hobbit. So I will say, for argument's sake of where everything was, this kind of I hadn't really planned for this, but it makes sense as a way of like automatically separating the battle from you guys. That Briar and Coda are the only members that Luscifrique was unable to get onto his side of, on the other side of the wall, rather. Everybody else is trapped on the other side of this large, and it's a lot larger than Tailspire is showing, is a large of thorny, very thick brambles, about 5 feet thick, about 10 feet tall, and about 60 feet long, as it winds and stretches its way between Luscifrique and them. He will use that as his lair action, and then on his turn, he will scream out in a terrifying roar using Frightful Presence. And as he uses Frightful Presence, I will have Coda and everyone else within 60 feet that is aware of him, don't even have to be able to see him, to make Wisdom saving throws. So Coda, Wisdom saving throw, please. I will roll for Briar. Briar also got a 16 on the dice, plus her Druid Wisdom is fine. Oh, you are fine. Coda and Briar are fine. Mel is... What is Mel's Wisdom? She got a 13 on the dice, plus her Wisdom of 1. Mel is considered frightened.
Coda puffs out their chest, this adolescent owlbear with antlers, and goes, "Arrgh!"
Nice. Are the antlers affixed to Coda, or are they part of?
Yeah.
Part
so
of them?
so they were born with little antlers, but they've grown a little bit longer now because they're older. They're in their adolescence.
Awesome. All right, I will roll for Apis, a Wisdom saving throw. Oh, that is a 9. A 9 plus your Wisdom is not gonna meet it. So, Apis, you are currently going to be frightened by Luscifrique's frightful... Actually, wait. Is it Luscifrique's choice? Let me double check. Yes, each creature of Luscifrique's choice. You are lucky that you do not have to make the save, because as of right now, Luscifrique is hoping that you are on his side. He does not include you in the frightful roar.
Nice.
It is a sort of he's frightful anyway, but he's sort of magically exuding fear to his enemies, and he is choosing to leave you out of it. I will roll for advantage for the Royal Guard. Yes, they succeed. I will roll separately for your Towns of Fondurg, though, without the advantage. And they fail. So a lot of your allies from Fondurg will be frightened of Luscifrique, at least for a while. But your fighters from Fondurg, fighters from the capital, as you'd expect, being trained warriors, they are not. They do not succumb to the frightened effect. That is the beginning of his multi-attack. He can use his frightful weapon, and then frightful presence, and then either his breath weapon or make 3 attacks. Can he reach anyone for physical attacks? I don't believe he can. So he is going to, because it's breath, and breath can go through wall. He rears back and lets out a 60-foot cone of poison breath from his mouth. He's actually not going for Coda. He's going for the warriors over here. 45 feet. 45 feet is about 15 meters-ish, give or take. So somewhere around here, and then here, and then out to the sides in a cone about yay wide. So a great deal of your warriors, however, most of them dwarves. So I will say that he gets to roll a percentage of this. You lucky gits. Yeah, I mean, it kind of evened out. I got a 1 and a 12 on the d12, so he takes off 13 percentage points from your allies. Your allies are dropped by a significant percentage points, but that is Luscifrique's turn. With the resistance, though, actually, it would probably only be half of that, so that's 7 points back. All right. You see one of your allies go down. One of the ones that seemingly was ambushed, and one of the dwarves that was ambushed from behind by the giant badger, breathed poison on already. He turned round and got the brunt of the badger's paws as it came up out of the ground. It had already taken quite a bit of damage, and then as he turns round, some of the thorny wall comes up and scratches alongside of him, pushes him to the side, and then he's hit by Luscifrique's breath and gets the brunt of it. So even with all of his poison resistance, one of the dwarves goes down. Alright, so that is Luscifrique's whole turn. Mel, you are up. However, Apis will be up after Mel, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a Nightbot giveaway, as it were.
Nice.
To decide who in the chat is going to control the very first turn of Apis's combat. And it is a tense one. I would be not surprised if there's only like 3 people enter, because it's a lot of pressure. All right, let's roll it. Ranger Harley. What a perfect opportunity for this trollish name. Ranger Harley. Are you in the chat? And are you aware that you have won? Can you just give me some kind of boom? There you go, dude. All right, Ranger Harley, you know the drill. It is your decision to decide what Apis does on combat. You have an action, a bonus action, and a movement. You are currently on the back of the dragon, so any movement would be to get off the dragon. You have your bonus action with which you can cast a bunch of the spells that you know. You can use Planar Warrior for extra damage. You have to make the decision, Ranger. And people in chat, you can try and influence Ranger's decision by sort of pitching your case, but Ranger ultimately is the one who decides, are you going to shoot the dragon in the back of the head or do something hostile that like definitively shows your hand and says, I'm never with you, I never was with you, that you're going to die here today kind of thing? Or are you going to still try and play both sides and pretend like you're fighting for the dragon in some way? It's entirely up to you, Ranger. It is all on you. A lot of pressure, but you knew that going into it. You have a turn to decide. Have a think about it while I do Mel's turn, Mel's action. So Mel, seeing that she is blocked off from you guys, she's not liking that. She's going to charge in to help her friend. She's got lots of fly speed, so I'm not even going to count it out. She's definitely got enough to get there. She is going to, not the dragon, I wanted Mel. She's going to fly in. She's going to fly sort of down the side of him around the fumigation, the insect-like fumigation that's coming out of his mouth. She's going to spin around and she's going to whip her tail underneath herself and try and plunge it into between his scales. I've got some Mel dice. Let's do those. Let's use this Mel dice. What's her attack modifier? She's going to do... Actually, is she going to summon swarms first? No, I think it's more epic if she's charged in the whole way, Superman style, and then on her first turn she just uses that momentum, tries to slam it in. That is going to be... her attack went up when she leveled, when you guys did. So that, I think, is going to hit. Let me double check Luscifrique's stats. I'll remember them eventually later on in this fight. Oh, it doesn't! Oh, she's one shy. Unfortunately, her sting glances across his scales and does not penetrate. He's got very tough scales. That was her action. Go on.
Fancy was just saying that Mel might have been frightened.
Mel was... Yes, thank you for that. Mel was frightened. And she has disadvantage on the attack because of that. So just in case it was a nat 1, it was not. So she misses, and she can't do much other than miss unless it's a nat 1. So she's pretty frightened, which means technically she can't actually move closer to him, but I'm going to hand wave that for the fun of it. She's now next to him and frightened, but seeing you on his back was enough to make her temporarily overcome that fright. Let's roll to see if she overcomes it at the end of her turn. She does not. So she's still frightened. that is Mel's turn. Then it is Apis' turn. Ranger Harley, have you had a think? What is it that we're going to do on our first turn of combat? Are we going to try and fight and take out Luscifrique as quickly as we can, hoping that he can't escape from this this bond? All right, Ranger says yes. We are going to attack the dragon. So Ranger, you are going to attack the dragon with a bow and arrow to the back of the head, or what's the plan? Are you going to attack him with your rope of binding? Are you going to shoot him bow attack and move away? All right. So you have a bonus action. So that's going to be your action. 2 attacks with a bow. Then you've got your movement to get to like slide down off his back. And then you've got your bonus action. What do you want to do with your bonus action? You can cast Misty Step, you can cast Hunter's Mark, you can use Planar Warrior. Zephyr Strike is a bonus action as well, which gives you advantage on the attack and then get the heck out of there. Zephyr Strike getting away without the opportunity attack would be a good idea. Because as soon as you attack him and then move away, he's going to know that you're attacking him and he's gonna go for you with his opportunity attack. So what are you doing, Ranger? What do you think? What are you doing for your bonus action? Okay, Hunter's Mark for the bonus action, and then shoot him twice, and then move away. Got it. Alright, so with the use of your spell at first level, away goes a berry. As you bring your bow around to the front, it takes you almost no effort at all with, speaking of which, actually. What's that, 16? No. With almost no effort at all, you pull your bow up from the ground. You can tap into the empathy of exactly where Luscifrique is in this moment anyway, because you're on top of him. It's really easy to put yourself in his position and know exactly who your quarry is. Tapping into the God-given powers from Ultimez, you surround him with this greenish, almost like it's taking some of his own green fog, and then circling it back round and imbuing it into his scales. You then rear back your bow, pull the string taut, aim it almost point blank to the back of his head as he is trying to thrash around. You do have advantage on the attack, I'll say, because you are riding him, and it makes sense that he does not see it coming, so he thinks you're an ally for now at least. And here goes. The first time we are 100% committing to saying, hey, Luscifrique, we are definitely your enemy.
Yes.
A 4 or a 16. A 16 plus 8 to hit from the longbow, you can see, is a 24. A 24 misses. No, it doesn't. Of course. A 24 hits as you strike this arrow right down deep between two scales, sort of down the back of where his ears meet his neck. It strikes between two scales and embeds itself about 2 inches into the flesh beneath. He lets out an almighty roar as you deal damage of, what is it, 1d8 plus 3 plus 6 plus a d8, d8 plus d6. Where is the d8? There it is. d8 plus d6 plus 3. So that's a 4 and a 2 is 6 plus 3 is 9 points of damage. 9 points of damage to Luscifrique. Bonus action. You've still got another attack because of your training with Sam the Hunter from Fonderg, who taught you over a series of sort of your leveling up, taught you some quick draw. So you draw out 2, one after another into the back of the head. Still have... I'm going to say that this one is not with advantage because he now knows that you're an enemy, and he's just been hurt from behind, so now he's going to deliberately be trying to thrash his head around to avoid getting another one. So without advantage, 18 plus stuff will definitely still hit anyway. So let's do the damage of a d8 plus a d6 plus 3, d8 plus a d6. We actually maxed out both, look. So, I haven't got the dice cam. Oh, no, you do. You got the dice cam over there. 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 3 is 17 points of damage from that one. Damn. 17 plus 9 takes us to 26. Strike! The arrow striking, and the hunter's mark green creep around it, seemingly knowing exactly where it's going to strike, and pulling the scales apart just to give you extra damage, driving the arrow deeper into his body. And he's thrashing around, now knowing full well that you are You are his enemy. He screams out, "Get the druids! I will deal with these ones!" That is Apis' action and bonus action. You are then going to use your movement, correct, to try and slide down his tail. You get off of him. You're basically crawling because you're in a seated position, so mechanically it's like being prone. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, I'll say to there, and then you are no longer flying. You manage to drop off of his back. That is your turn. Fantastic turn, Ranger Harley. We have thrown our hat over the wall, as it were. Alright, so that was Luscifrique, that was Mel, that was Apis. It is now Ally. Ally is Briar, who is the tiny little lady. Where is she? Tiny little lady, there she is. I've got ideas for what Briar was going to do on her turn. Oh, that's right. Briar, being an animal specialist, someone who is particularly in tune with the forest creatures, sees that all of these beasts of the forest are rushing in. She's going to cast Animal Friendship at 3rd level and convince 3 of the larger ones. I'm going to say the wolf, let's say one of the rats, and let's say one of the larger birds of prey that's flying in from the forest. She's going to target them just over the wall, seeing them flying into the allies, and she's going to cast Animal Friendship at 3rd level, convincing those 3 larger beasts that this is not their fight, and forcing them to leave. As she forces those animals to leave, making it slightly easier on the allies for the next round, she's going to look across to Apis and say, "I guess the time's now, Apis. We've got this." And Apis recovers 6 points of healing, taking us from 49 to 55. So 56 in the corner there is our maximum. We are now on 55 of 56. I don't want to be dealing with that on the screen, so I've got it in front of me on this piece of paper instead. That's just our maximum. That is Briar. She is then going to use her movement to get out of dodge. She doesn't want to be in front at the business end of this dragon so that he can breathe on her. She's going to kind of into the bushes here. Can't cast 2 spells in a round. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Healing spell and Animal Friendship, because it needs to be a cantrip. Alright, you don't get 6 hit points back, and she doesn't have... Oh, she's got Shillelagh. So, as a bonus, casts Shillelagh instead. Which is a bonus action and a cantrip, so that's fine. Thank you for keeping me honest there. Alright, so Apis is still on 49. Then we've got Coda. Coda! Alright, so
Coda.
on the fight here, let me zoom out so you can see a little better. Rushing down the side of one of the vegetative walls, we've got Coda on a sort of Katie Corner-wise angle to the grounded Luscifrique. He is not under the restrained condition. The binds just keep his wings from working, but it does not keep him restrained. He can still move around as best he can. He just can't fly.
So how far away am I?
You are about, what's that, like 30 feet-ish, give or take. Not too loosey-goosey with it, but yeah, about, what's that, 6 meters, which is about, whatever that is, 3.5 feet, so about 18, 20, about 20-ish feet, 25, 30.
All right. Hearing the sound of the shillelagh kick off and the proclamation of battle, and seeing the arrows go down in the back of the dragon's head, Cody's gonna roll its shoulders, drinking in the radiant light from above, shake, and then just start charging towards the dragon. He's going to bring his beak right up and try and bite the eye of the dragon.
Oh yeah, right in the face. Into the face of the dragon. Coda is going to try and bite on his... Oh, look at that. It's almost perfect angle as well. Look. Thank you, Tailspire.
Now, before I roll, I've chosen the improved critical.
Oh, nice.
And
so
it's
you crit on a 18, 19? What is it?
19 and 20.
19 and 20 is a crit for Coda. All right.
Now, is it just the straight the straight roll?
It is a straight roll because Luscifrique is not restrained.
Not restrained. Awesome. Let's go. Okay. Coda launches out to try and bite, and gets a 14.
14 unfortunately will miss.
Yeah.
As Coda comes rushing in, Luscifrique sort of turns to try and snap at Coda, and Coda has to pull back a little bit.
Yep.
He's not considered prone. No, he's just on the. He's just all that Earthbind does is reduce a flying speed to 0. So he was pulled to the ground, but he's still like on his feet and not restrained.
So as that comes forward to bite, Coda like bleats in defiance and is going to go for the eye again.
Just snapping, and this owl beak.
It's an 11.
11. Unfortunately, the scales of this dragon and the fact that his long neck is thrashing.
I love it.
He's trying to get, trying to fight back, making sure that he doesn't go down like this. This is not how my legacy ends. All right, that is Coda's turn. You got a bonus action for anything?
No.
Nope. All right, back to the top of the round with Luscifrique. Let's see if he gets his breath weapon back. Oh, he does. Okay, This is gonna hurt Coda. All right. Let's zoom right out. Can he, from his mouth end, hit him and Briar and anybody else? Mel and Apis are definitely not at the face end, so can't get you guys in the breath weapon. Even I can't see where Briar is. There she is. So Briar's got a long neck, like he's got a long neck. He can probably go out to about that angle. Ooh, Briar's kind of on the cusp of it. She has been given a poison resistance. I'll make her make it, but I'll give her advantage on the save. Because of the poison resistance thing anyway. Then, Coda, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Alright, here we go.
Oh, lair action, thank you for the reminder, Cake Ladder. I'll do that in a moment.
That's a 24.
Ooh, nice. 24 succeeds, and Briar succeeds as well with a 16 on the dice plus stuff. So you both succeed and take only half the damage. Oops, I forgot to get my dice out. And it's going to be a lot of them. It's going to be a lot of them, because Dragon Breath Weapon, yo.
Oh, yeah.
The lair action doesn't matter so much for our fight. He will be using his lair action on the enemies to try and adjust the allies over there. He's trying to attack the allies and things. I've kind of abstracted the lair action into dealing with off-screen fighting. All right, how many dice is this? Luscifrique, how much does your breath weapon make? Oh boy! Oh boy! That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where are all my d6s? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 d6. Alright. Good luck, Coda! What hit points you got?
39!
Thanks for joining us, Dread! You luckily succeeded again. Oh, that's not the greatest. Let's see. 49 halved and rounded up is 25. 25 points of poison damage to you, and 25 points of actually halved again for Milady, because she's now got resistance to it as well. 25 halved, so 49 quartered is 12. 12 points to Briar.
Try to get it like full brunt with his poison.
Right, of course, because you're literally trying to bite his face, and so you were in his face when he just. Yeah. Coda, you see the snake-like neck rears back, and as it opens its mouth, have you seen like cats yawning as well, where their head seems to like just hinge in half? Yeah. And you see almost this happen. You see the just all the way down the throat as this huge, really dark, sickly olive-like green viscous fog just bellows out, hits Coda square in the face. Coda kind of like tanks up, tries to close off the breathing airways and things, but it's just enough that it like gets into the eyes, like chlorine-like. It sort of touches the moisture of the skin and starts to burn, and you do take the damage, but you manage to tank against a lot of it. Briar also tanks against a lot of it, and then with the resistance from the poison damage, potion, she tanks it again even further. How does Coda look?
Yeah. Coda's on 14 hit points.
Yeah. What is
Let's go.
what does it feel like for Coda? What happens? Does Coda
So
sort of
Coda's
bring it back?
eyes are stinging and watering. There would be this horrid taste in Coda's mouth, and you also see the feathers are molting and starting to fall off in places as well. And there are pock marks across his form as well, where he's bleeding now.
Um, Excellent description. So Luscifrique will use the breath weapon. Frightened presence won't work. Oh, now Apis is definitely an enemy, so he's going to use his frightful presence again. This time on Apis. Apis, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw against being frightened. That is a 10. A 10 plus your modifier for your wisdom. If I take you back to the main page, you can see your modifier for saving throws is a +2. So you've got a 12 total. Do you wish to re-roll? Or do you wish to leave it as a 12 on your frightful presence saving throw? Do you have advantage? I don't believe you have advantage for any reason, do you? Is there anything I'm forgetting that you should have advantage about? You definitely do need to remind me of things I've forgotten, because there's a lot going on in this fight. It's going to be a big deal. Forest bonus doesn't apply to wisdom saves against dragons, I don't believe, right? Player's handbook. Rangers. Forest bonus I don't believe applies to anything like this. Forest bonus. Don't use the horseshoe. Favoured enemy. Favoured enemy. Forest bonus wouldn't apply. If anything, the favoured enemy would apply, but I don't think it will. Rangers. Favoured enemy, advantage on survival checks, intelligence check to recall information about them. You speak a language that they speak, but that's it. Nothing to do with their effects. All right, so I'm going to say no. It seems like most people are saying no, don't re-roll it. So a 12 will not cut it. You are considered frightened of Luscifrique. You've seen what he's just done to this giant owlbear that you're not familiar with. This owlbear seems to have been conjured by Charlie and to fight on his behalf, and is fighting with a vigor and fighting with aplomb. It is now Mel's turn. He is still down underneath the bonds. Actually, we've got lair action and top of the round allies and stuff fighting in the middle of the battle. So let's see how the enemy goes first. Because of the wall, the lair action happens after, doesn't it? Yeah. So the enemy goes first, reduces 1 point from the allies, takes them down to that. And then they need to roll a percentage to see if they roll above that to do X more damage. They do not, 54%. So the enemies are not making great headway this round against the allies. Cutting and scratching and breathing poison on them. Then the allies do 3 points of damage to the enemies. And do they do more? They do not, 53%. So the enemy and allies both fighting at each other. The allies gaining a little bit of ground this time. However, the allies, the enemies rather, have been specifically ordered by Luscifrique to go for the druids. He is smart enough to realize what they're doing with the wind spells, with the healing spells, and with the earthbinding spells. He was the one he saw Polython do this thing. He knows that he is trapped on the ground until Polython has been taken out. So the enemies are starting to fight their way over to Polython. The camera kind of shoots through the brambles of this wall that's been conjured, and out the other side, under the arms as they're striking, and through fog cloud as somebody turns and blocks with the shield a lot of the fog. And then it gets towards the back of the battle, where Polython has cast Earthbind, Vala has cast Silvery Barbs, and then on this turn Vala has cast a dome of spherical abjuration energy called Leomund's Tiny Hut for Polython to stand within and concentrate on her Earthbind. From all surroundings of this hut, it is being now bombarded by rats and squirrels and ferocious rabbits, owls that are swooping and bombing it, breathing poison on it, but the poison is not making it through the shield of the dome. that is a point of contention for some DMs. It's not super clear with the spell as to whether or not breath weapon attacks should go through it, because are they technically magical? I'm going to say for the cinematic sake that the breath weapon does not go through the demon's tankard. Does the animal friendship hurt the enemy's roll this turn? Yes, actually it did affect the animals. It would have only given them disadvantage on it, and they already rolled a 1. So we'll flavour that as that's why they only did one point of damage this round, is because 3 of their main fighters had skedaddled. Ferocious rabbits, yes, with dragon-like teeth. That was the enemies. Then it is Luscifrique's lair action. Luscifrique is going to... Let me double check the lair actions, because if he does the wall again, does it disappear? Grasping roots and vines. Where are you? Lair action. A wall of bush, blah, blah, blah. The wall sinks back into the ground when the dragon uses this lair action again, or when the dragon dies. Alright, the dragon is not going to use that lair action again. He's going to use the grasping roots and vines. A large point within the other side of the battle with the enemies and allies fighting ferociously. A large area turns into grasping roots and vines on the ground that whip out at anything non-dragon and grabs hold of the ankles of the fighters. The enemies with the ballista bolts. Oh yeah, I was going to shoot off a couple of ballista bolts for the fighters with them. There were 6 fighters, each with a ballista bolt. On their first turn of combat, it was to just fire that one bolt and then draw their swords and run in. So the 6 fighters with the manticore-headed ballista bolts. One is a nat 1, one is a nat 4, one is a nat 6, and another is a nat 6. So, not doing great against Luscifrique scales. Bouncing off, even with their plus 10 to hit with their ballista, it's still not hit. Probably because of the wall. As they fired the ballista was about the same time as Luscifrique used his lair action to conjure a wall of whatever, so a lot of the ballistas did not make it through. But there's 2 more to roll. Another nat 1, and this time a nat 12, so the 12 plus 10, that will hit. So one of the ballista bolts, of the 6 of them with the manticore heads, will finally strike Luscifrique. That is 3, 7, 11, 16, 19. 19 points of bludgeoning damage to Luscifrique from the ballista of those guys. And then just as the wall is going up, you see them kind of just chuck the ballistas to the side, draw out swords and shields, and rush in to fight with the dwarves. I believe that's everything remembered from all of the things on the battlefield there. That was top of the round, enemies, allies. Lair action, Luscifrique's turn to Fearful Presence and Spew, and he does not have his fly speed, so he can't take off again, so he's going to stay where he is. Then it is Mel's turn. Before we go into Mel's turn, I'm going to draw. Two Bread Tom, can you give us some indication that you are still in the chat and start thinking about what you're going to be doing on your turn? While we do Mel's turn, Mel is going to realise that she can't get through his scales very easily. She's going to look, in Sylvan she shouts, "My subjects, fight for us! Fight for the forest! Fight for your lives!" And then from the forest comes 2 swarms of insects, because since she reached level 5 she can summon 2 at once now. I think I had maybe just another version of her. Maybe that's... I don't think the Tailspire doesn't do swarms. I searched for it before. She's going to conjure 1 swarm of biting, stinging insects right around his face, and 1 swarm like under his belly, trying to get into him.
Yeah, that's what we want to see.
And they're going to stay around just trying to bite and sting and all of that jazz. So she has Mel and her militia now. So that is her action. She's going to stay within range of his back end, around his tail region, so no movement. She's got nothing she can do as a bonus yet, and her action was to summon swarms. So that's Mel's turn. It is now the militia's turn. The militia are going to... They're going to use... They don't have movement. Well, they do have movement. They're not going to use it. They're going to use their biting attacks. So let's hope that the militia can get through. They're going to have to roll well, though. They don't have the greatest of attack modifiers. But hey, the more attacks you do, the more chances of that nat 20. That's a nat 8 and a nat 14 plus 3. So the highest one was a 17 to hit. As the ones underneath are trying to like bite at the neck and the underbelly, they're just finding nowhere to gain purchase. Unlike an alligator or something with slightly softer scales on the belly, it doesn't seem like Luscifrique's scales are any less defensive on the bottom than they are on the top. So they are swarming around his face, but not finding anywhere to find major purchase on him. However, if he does try and leave the space, they will get attacks of opportunity at least. That is the malicious turn. Apis, it is now your turn. Two bread, Tom. What are we doing? We've got 16 arrows left because we've just driven 2 of them into the back of his head. What did the soporific spores do? She's got soporific spores that can try and put a thing to sleep, but it's much like the sleep spell, in that... oh, actually, is it? Let me think. It's not a sleep spell, it's a constitution saving throw. However, this poison dragon is probably pretty hardy. And, more to the point, we have specifically told Mel in the training part of like episode 42 or something, we specifically took some downtime to train Mel and say, don't use don't use your sleep spores until I tell you to, because too often she's used them and almost caught you in the effect as well. Two Bread Tom says, can we misty step into the branches of the tree near us and shoot him twice in the back of the head? Absolutely we can. So that's what you're going to do. You use your bonus action to misty step. Whoosh. I will put you in this tree here. Yeah, boy. Go Tailspire. You misty step up there, surrounded by the fog, almost like the green fog that is still kind of wafting over to you from where Briar is, where he just breathed his poison. It's kind of dissipating now. You feel you can smell that kind of acrid burning rubber sort of smell. Makes you almost gip as it comes towards you. Not enough to cause damage, but you use that fog. It swirls up around you, swirls up into your cloak, and then appears at the top of the tree. Turn around and 2 attacks on him. You have Hunter's Mark still. You are you've used your bonus, your attack. You've got Hunter's Mark. Gone is one of your second spells as you misty step into the tree. Let's do 2 attacks. He is not... Oh, actually, what size is he? He's large. So we've got 1 medium creature. How big are the swarms? Are they medium? Yeah, medium swarms. So 2 medium swarms, a medium Mel, a medium Coda. Is Coda large or medium?
Coda would be medium adolescent at the moment.
Cool. So 2 mediums, 3 mediums, 4 mediums. There are 4 mediums around him. He's a large, which means you have advantage. He has the surrounded condition. He has the surrounded condition, which means he's now fighting on too many sides. He's trying to find purchase in the way he fights. So the way that I do it is that he, because of his size and the things that are attacking him, you have advantage on these attacks. That's an 18 or a nat 20. I think we'll take that nat 20.
Take the nat 20.
I think we'll take that nat 20, don't we?
Yeah, get that nat
20. Oh,
20.
yes, the fear cancels the advantage. Thank you, Sparrow. So I would normally have rolled this gem dice first anyway, so we'll take that nat 20. We'll be kind.
Nice.
Nat 20 means that you got your 8 plus your 6 from Hunter's Mark is 14, plus 3 is 17. 17 plus an 8 and a d6. 8 more. So what did I say? 17 plus 8 more. 25 points of damage with that first strike.
Woo!
Damn. He is not yet looking wounded.
Yeah.
As you strike down between the shoulder blades this time.
I will make you pay for this treachery. You think this is over?
And you fire again. Alright, cancel out that disadvantage because you are frightened, but he is surrounded. So 5 is unfortunately not going to hit this time. Your second arrow strikes against the armor plating of the back and just shatters. That is still a very good turn though with your nat 20. That is all of your turn because unless you want to use movement now, you're kind of in a tree. You can now use your movement to try and climb back down from the tree if you want, but you can also horseshoe that second shot if you really want to roll again. Nah. All right. Who's up next? It is Briar, and then it is Coda.
Would Apis make the save again to resist against the...
Oh yes, thank you for the reminder. Apis makes the save at the end of the turn to no longer be frightened. 12 plus your wisdom is not enough, unfortunately. You are considered still frightened. You are not able to move closer to him. You have disadvantage on your attacks. It is now Briar's turn. Briar, on the second turn of combat, I have her down as healing anyone in need. She sees Coda is spewing up poison and not enjoying this. She's not super familiar with what Coda... she knows that he's an owlbear, and she knows he's an adolescent. She's going to use all of her movement to get to Coda, and she's going to reach out and cast Cure Wounds at 3rd level on Coda. As is her job as the druid. You gotta do your thing. Gotta keep them alive. Keep fighting. Ooh, that's good as well. That's an 8, a 7, and a 6 makes 21. 21 plus her wisdom of 3. 24 points of healing for Coda.
Love it.
She reaches out. She gets... What does it look like for her? She's an animal specialist. I think it kind of looks like a salve. She reaches down. Oh yeah, she's a dream druid as well. So she reaches into like a plane of dreams, almost like she's holding like a big mixing bowl under her arm, but she's not holding anything. She puts her hand into it, and her hand kind of goes ethereal, and then it's a realm of possibility in there. She can create anything she can dream up, essentially. And as she does, she reaches in, pulls out this like this bowl of salve. This it's got this pinkish, creamy kind of peachy texture to it. She brings it out, grabs the other hand into it, and slathers it onto Coda's sides where the wounds were, and heals you up.
Hell yeah!
That is.
Coda shakes off any like poison that was sitting on his feathers, and then looks back with an appreciative look. Wow.
Wow. She's used action and movement. She's got bonus action. She's got Shillelagh. I don't think she can do anything else. She's just going to stand there like, this tiny little 2-foot dwarf, 2-foot hobbit that could be easily swallowed whole by Luscifrique. She's like, I'm taking you on. Good on you, Briar. All right. That is Briar's turn. It is now you, Coda. What are you doing?
GM. Roll.
Yes.
Let me know if I'm allowed to do this. I'm going to describe it anyway. So if you say yes, just let me know if you do it or not. Okay, so Coda is like looks back with appreciation, and hearing that you like the dragon proclaim that it was going to pay back for the treachery.
Yeah.
Coda looks over the crest of the wall that was summoned and sees the remnants of the silvery barbs still lingering in the air, and is going to hopefully take that advantage for themselves. Looks back to the dragon defiantly and is going to make an attack.
All right. I will say she was deliberately giving it to Polython to try and maintain. In case she got attacked, she was trying to maintain concentration. She needed that advantage to maintain concentration.
More than okay.
But I will say, in fact, you have your advantage anyway because he's got the surrounded condition.
Right, you're right.
He has the surrounded condition because of the swarms and Mel, and now Briar as well.
I love it. We're going for the eye again as well. So Coda is going to time it just right, and is going to try and jump up and then just like pour the eye with. Actually, we're gonna go for a beak. I really want to bite the eye. We're gonna go up and try like eye bite.
All right. So, question before you roll.
Yep.
If you're attacking the eye and you want like mechanical benefit, like you're trying to blind him or something, then that's a cold shot and will increase the AC of him. If you're wanting to do it just for flavor and it does regular damage, then no increase to the AC.
I was just going for flavor, but I kind of do want to do it anyway.
It's up to you. He's got a pretty high AC, so it's up to you. You can call shot and get some mechanical advantage. If you still hit his AC, you do the regular damage, and he's blinded for a round or something.
All right, we're gonna go for the mechanical.
You're gonna go for the mechanical advantage. All right, you're going for the cold shot.
All right, we have advantage. Okay, with advantage, I'm not rolling good. It's going to be a 14.
A 14 unfortunately will not hit. Not even hit the face close. Around the eye. No, unfortunately not close. You rear back and try and bring down the beak. You have multi-attack though, so you can try again. And don't forget that you start every session with me with inspiration if you're a real life player, because I want you to be able to use that. As for Apis, they need to earn their inspiration by doing something amazing and in character and something that astounds me. Or
then seeing that we're not finding purchase on the eye, Coda's going to go to just a big fury swipe for the eye, unable to hit with the beak.
Strike down. All right.
seeing that it's much higher now that the head's like looking over in the direction of Apis. 17.
17 unfortunately will not hit.
Ah!
With his very hardened scales. Are you adding your warrior thing on? You have your attacker?
Oh, no, 19.
19 hits. 19 just hits. 19 is the armor class. As you rear back, and with you being a warrior attacker subclass, whatever the sidekick thing is, you get to add +2 to your attacks. The beak misses with a 16, but your claws rear back and scratch down over the side of the face, and really deal your damage.
All right. It's going to be 7 slashing damage.
7 slashing. All right. What are you on, Luscifrique? Let's have a look. What's your health at? Yeah, okay. Not looking bloodied yet. Scratch down a few of the scales, mostly getting superficial damage to the outside, but definitely still doing something. Is that your turn? You going to move at all?
My turn. Actually, I might. I want to try and maintain base contact if possible, and wants to get up on this banking rock if possible.
Oh yeah,
to try and jump on the back. Yeah.
Try and jump. So in order to get there, you can either leave melee range to go around this tree, or you can try and make some kind of a check, like an acrobatic roll, to get underneath his wing to get on there, and without leaving melee range. But it will require some kind of a check, and if you fail, you'd probably go prone. So you can leave melee range, get a free attack of opportunity, or you can stay in melee range but risk going prone as you try and roll underneath. Or you can go around to somewhere else instead.
I'm going to provoke the opportunity attack.
All right. So Coda turns, rushes away, and as he opens his back, go on.
I'm doing so looking towards our ally, kind of indicating that Coda is trying to leech the opportunity attack. Nice. We're just like, hey, I'm not trying to distract. If you need to get out of here, thank you for the heal. And
distract it does. He reaches his neck out to you to try and take a bite attack. That's going to be a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yep.
Just a little bit of a hit.
There's a little bit of a hit. Yep.
Oh, a little bit of a hit.
That's this is a little bit of a hit.
Everybody love a little bit of hit. That's a little bit of poison. I didn't say there was going to be a poison.
He didn't say it was going to be a poison.
Oh dear. That is going to be 19 piercing damage. Plus another, because he's biting with his mouth that is very poisonous, another 7 points of poison.
Oh my god, no, it's 26.
Yep. So she just healed you, and then brings it. And she's like, I just cleaned in here. Can we keep it clean for like 1 day, please? I just healed you. So as you reach out, he snaps at you with his neck. He takes a big chunk of flesh out of Coda's back. But then you get to move. You use your movement to get all the way around here. You get up onto the rock without problem. What's Coda's movement? 40, is it? 50?
It's only 30.
30?
Because we're using the stat block, and he's at Arslan, so he's not a full-grown owlbear.
Okay.
As he banks up on that rock, though, he's going to look up at the sun, roll his shoulders, and motes of dust start to catch that radiant light and turn celestial.
Nice.
And he's going to use his second wind.
Oh, yeah, boy. I love it. That's a good description. I'm going to give you inspiration, and I believe you already have it. Did you already have inspiration? Yeah. So you can bounce it to someone who doesn't have it.
I'm going to bounce it. I'm going to bounce it to Apis.
Bing!
I'm going to bounce it to chat.
All right, chat.
Oh, no.
Dreads, what did you roll? A 1?
I got a 1.
Well, you get 6 hit points back.
Yeah, I do. There we go. Thank God for the modifier. That was actually on point. That was on point. Amazing.
All right, so
I thought that was Sirenscape.
Rich, I don't need Sirenscape. I'm a voice box. So you reach around the back. You get to level with Mel. Mel is kind of like trying to stay on his back where he can't hit her with face and teeth. You have now done the same. I believe that's everything you can do on your turn.
That's my turn. That was my
All
bonus
right.
action, and then I'd use my movement as well.
All right, I am going to remember this time to, at the top of the round, I'm going to roll the nightbot so that whoever it is, Pockfin, you get a little bit more time to think before your turn comes around. So Pockfin, can I get an acknowledgement in the chat that you are here and you are ready and you are willing to do Apis' next turn? It sounds like a yes. All right, Pockfin, you've got a little time to think. It is your turn this round, but it is currently the enemies fighting. Let's see what they do. Because of the grasping thing that he did on his lair action last turn, the enemy has advantage on the roll for damage. So that's either a 3 or a 2. So they do 3 points of damage this time to the allies, and then they roll a percentage to see if they do any more. And yes, this is a compounding thing because the allies are now on 86%. If they roll above that, then they do another d4 to take it off. So every time that they're taking off damage from the allies, obviously the forces are getting weaker and weaker, and it's more and more likely that the enemies are going to start taking a stronghold. Or vice versa with the allies as well. That is a 97. 97 is above 86, so they do another d4 of damage to the allies. This is a particularly bad round for the allies, being taken down to 83 now. Oh, with advantage because, yeah. So 83 on the allies, and then the allies get to retaliate. They do 2 points of damage to the enemy, taking him down to 81. Let's see if they do more. No, that's 55%. So the allies are just about staying on level. It's 83 to 81, so we're almost about to lose one of the major allies. You see, you can't see through the walls, but you can hear the just more and more bad guys like throwing themselves against this dome, trying to get in and disrupt her work. You also, I'll roll a perception check for Apis, see if you recognise from a distance. A 4, you do not. Something else is going on that you are unfamiliar with because of the wall. All right. Then it is then it's lair action. Oh crap! He's got legendary actions I'm meant to be using. Oh well, you didn't. You got away without any legendary actions for the first round. I will say magical fog. He's going to do that. So out of the ground, a magical green fog surrounds everybody temporarily, and then disappears away. I'll still leave a little bit of it on the ground there. And then someone on the other side has to succeed on a wisdom saving throw. I'll be charmed by the dragon. Ooh, that was almost a 20. It ran to an 8. So one of the fighters of the King's Guard is charmed by the dragon. So that will affect their next thing on their next turn. I might start doing lower actions before the enemies and allies, so I don't have to remember an entire turn until it gets around to them. That's what I'm going to do. Then it is the end of the lair actions into this side of the battle with Luscifrique. Luscifrique's turn. Does he get his breath weapon back? He does not. You are lucky, so he's going to unleash a multi-attack. Let's see, is everybody on this side already frightened or saved against it? Yes, everybody on this side is now frightened or has saved against it. Actually, did Mel on her previous turn, did she save? No, she did not. She's still frightened. So what's he got in range? He can, let's have a look, he can do multi-attack, 3 melee attacks, only one of which can be a bite, a tail, and he can do 3 claws if he wants. So who is within range? Oh, look at that. Briar. Tiny little tasty Briar is right by his face. So let's see if he's going to make 1 bite attack at her, 1 tail attack against Coda, and then 1 claw attack against the bees, the swarm that's trying to get onto him, I think. Alright, let's do him in that order. Let's go. Briar. A bite attack against Briar.
Fine.
That's a 19. Briar definitely gets hit. A claw attack against the bees. That's a 15. The bees hit. And Coda, that is... oh dear.
Oh no, not a natural 20.
That was a nat 20.
No!
So,
No!
Would you like to use your hero point inspiration to force me to reroll that?
Yeah.
it's that or die, mate. So when you've got what, like 12 hit points left or something?
Yeah, I'm on 16.
You're on 16. You cannot tank a nat 20 from his tail attack. I'm going to tell you that much. So with a reroll, forcing me to reroll with your inspiration point, that dropped it to a 3. A 3 plus his 10, 13. 13 to hit.
13's gonna be a miss. As
13 misses.
Right. Coda juts back, like scooting on his butt away from the edge of the stone.
Nice. Yeah, the scratch down the face is still kind of throwing him off a little bit, and the insects are now trying to buzz into that scratch and eat and bite and scratch and burrow into his skin. He's distracted enough that his tail is not he's got blind sight, but he's momentarily blinded from his blind sight, and distracted enough that he whips out to Coda, and Coda will back out of the range. All right, awesome, I love it. But Briar did get a bite, and one of the bees, the ones closer, got a claw attack as well. Bite attack. This is going to hurt. A D10, another D10.
Here it comes.
Oh man, you got a 10 again. So 13 plus 5 is 18 points of piercing. 18 points of piercing and 4 points of poison, halved because of her resistance. So 2, so 20 total to Briar. She is wounded. She is not looking good. She is at less than half her health, and doing her best to... and then concentrate on... What was she concentrating on? Animal friendship. That's gone already. It doesn't matter. That was his bite. Then it is his striking claws at the bees. The bees was a hit, and it does slashing damage. Thankfully, they're resistant to that because they're a swarm. 6 plus 5, 11 halved, rounded up is 6. So 6 points of damage to the swarm. He takes out a few of the bees, just like clawing and scratching at himself, killing just a whole bunch of the bees. But he's not yet killed enough to halve the swarm. Then he took a striking tail attack at Coda and missed. His movement. Let me just double check Earthbind real quick. I know that it makes his fly speed 0, but I don't think it affects his regular speed, does it?
I think it is. It's only just Earthbound.
It's just that he can't fly, right? That's all it does?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So he can still move. He's not restrained. He can still move. He is going to. He doesn't like that you guys are trying to get up behind him. Back to the wall. I mean, he can tail attack, which is pretty good, but he's going to move away. He's going to incur attacks of opportunity from Briar if she wants to hit him with a shillelagh, which she does. She's going to strike him with a shillelagh. That's an 18 plus stuff will hit. Good job, Briar. Shillelagh, remind me, I think it's a D8 plus her spellcasting modifier. 6 damage. Pretty sure that's the case. Then the bees will get an attack of opportunity. Unlikely to hit, but we'll see. That's a nat 1, so some of the bees will bite some of the other bees. And a 16 will miss, so the bees will all miss. Mel, as he moves away, Mel will get an attack of opportunity as well. Mel's going to try and strike him with her stinger. That will also miss. Oh no, plus 12. Oh, that's a plus 7 rather. That's a 19 exactly. So Mel just manages to strike him as he leaves her melee range. And Mel's strike is a 2d6 poison damage. He's not going to take any of that, so it's just the d6 stinger damage. So that's 9 points of piercing. Good job, Mel. Takes him to this. He's still not looking wounded yet. The strike hits him in the back there. Coda, I will say that because you made the save and described that you were scuttling back on your butt, you can make the call. Do you think that was you were just trying to flavour that, or were you actually like?
I was just trying to flavour it, but I was okay with it going back as well. But I think because the tail's like a reach of 10, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. So you kind of scuttle back.
I was just like flavouring it, but
all right. I'll allow attack of opportunity. You can strike as Coda. Do it.
Sick. Okay, so then can we flavour it that the tail like swings as it's moving just nearby, bringing it into that new movement range, and is just gonna bite it as it's retracting?
Yeah, absolutely. The tail swipes out for you, trying to hit Coda, and Coda scoots back and then tries to bite it as it moves away. Hey, nice. Net 20.
Woo! Okay.
Mel didn't have disadvantage cake later because he had the surrounded condition, so I guess actually the bees should have had advantage. Bees had advantage. Oh, which means that one of them actually did hit.
gonna roll another one just in case I get.
Just in case it's a
20.
double nat 20, you know?
It's a double natural 20.
Was it actually?
Well, not really. It's a 19, which
is a crit for you.
19, 20. Yeah,
That is 2 crits.
It's double crit.
I will say, max out the damages that we do with a normal 20 anyway, and then for the actual roll with advantage like a savage attacker.
Oh, awesome. Okay,
take
cool.
The higher of the two.
Let's go.
Just because of the double nat 20, why not? What am I doing?
Okay, so it's gonna be
sting, bites,
an instant 10 plus 3, which will be 13 plus another 10. I rolled a 4 and a 10.
23, nice. So 23 takes him to the wounded condition now, finally. All right.
I'm going to say that Coda grabs the scale if possible as a trophy.
Bites some of the tail and tears off. There's a small chunk of green scale has been torn off the tail there.
Hell yeah.
He moves out of his range, keeps his back to you, and now he can hit pretty much everyone with his breath weapon attack if it comes back. He's still bounded down on the ground. He's not actually on that tree.
On that tree?
Let me move that tree out of the way. Get out of the way, tree. There we go.
Hell yeah. That's so great. When the dice were just holding out for that epic moment, apparently.
Bite, claw. That was everything. That was his turn. He's moved. He's done his attacks. Then it is Mel and the militia. She has got soporific spores. She's not going to use that till you tell her to. She's done a summon swarm, so all she's got is sting. She then flies in towards his neck and tries to take a sting as her militia do the same thing to try and get all up in his grill. So she is going to take an attack. He no longer has the surrounded condition, so she doesn't have advantage, and that's a 7, going to miss. Then the militia both roll, and one of them actually gets it with a 16 plus 3.
Yeah.
So the biting insects manage to find some wounds now to get into, and roll 5 points of damage to him. Every little helps. Insects biting around. Oh, actually, I just thought of something he might do on his turn. Takes his whole action, though. Be interesting though. Be worth it. Maybe. All right, that is Mel and her militia done. Legendary actions. Thank you, Cake Ladder. That happens between turns. It happens after Mel's turn. All right, I'm going to add that to my initiative tracker because I will keep forgetting. So I'm going to move Lucy up to the front. Mel's militia. I'm going to put enemy here as the legendary action. How many has he got? Let me check. He's got 2 legendary actions, so he's going to take enemy 1 and enemy 2. One before and one after your turn. After Mel's turn, as Apis is getting ready for their turn, the legendary action will go, and he will... Oh, this is what he's going to do. Instead of controlling the militia, he's just going to bat them all away. He's going to do a wing attack. For the cost of both of his actions, his legendary actions. Yep. So he's not going to get the other one this turn, but he is going to open his wings and then just absolutely furiously beat his wings down towards the insects and Mel. Because of the binding yellow bands of Earthbind, he cannot then use his flying movement to then take off. He's beating his wings trying to take off, and it's just not happening, but you still get the other effect of that, which is each creature within 5 feet of him must succeed on dexterity saving throws or take bludgeoning damage and be knocked prone. So Mel first. Mel takes a dex save of... Oh, that's good. Mel got 17 plus her very high modifier. She manages to not take the bludgeoning damage. She takes half as much damage and is not knocked prone. So she takes... 3, 8, 4 points of damage to Mel. Mel, 4 points of damage to her, and then the swarm that is already slightly injured. Oh, that's actually a really good roll. Not good enough. Wait. No, not good enough. So that will take all damage, and then the other one is... Ooh, exactly what it needed. Just.
Yeah.
So the one that is wounded takes extra damage. I just rolled for it, didn't I? So I won't... I'll just use the same roll for everybody. 10 points of bludgeoning damage. 10 points is all it had left, so that swarm is gone. But hey, you did some work. You did like 10 points of damage to him overall. I'll grab this one here and just delete. So that's one of the swarms gone. The other swarm takes half damage. Down to that. Not looking wounded yet. Not looking halved. That's his legendary actions. Now it's Pockfin. Sorry for the interruption. I think the best thing we can do is just poke him from higher ground. Where is higher ground, buff? Screaming prequel memes. So you're just going to poke him from up here. 2 attacks. Planar Warrior. Attack with Planar Warrior for sure. Okay. So, let me grab this. Let me try and get some cinematic awesome moment here as he is down there on the ground. Apis is up here. Looking from up here as he bats his wings and pushes and buffets your bee companion in the air. Draws back an arrow, uses a bonus action to tap into those tingles over the body that you've used for your benefit before, and you get to make an attack. You do not have advantage because he does not have the surrounded condition or any other effect giving you advantage. He knows exactly where you are, and it's just a straight roll. So first one is a... Oh my god, is that a 20? That is a crit.
Yeah!
That is a crit. Can you see it? Yeah, you can. That is a crit with Planar Warrior and Hunter's Mark. Oh my god, this is going to hurt.
Let's go!
So, Planar Warrior gives you a d8. Your bow gives you a d8. Hunter's Mark gives you a d6. The way I do crits is I max out all of them. So that's 16, 22, 22 plus 3, 25 points of damage before we even roll. 25 points of damage before we roll. 25 plus 36, that's 32, that's 36.
This is it.
36 points of damage from the first attack. Takes him to 100 and... What's this now? 6, 40, 50... 151 damage he's taken. Holy cow. Let's have a look at his stats here. Damn. Alright, strike. As he was beating his wings and reared back, and he looks like he's about to strike at Mel. The arrow strikes down, like up through the tooth into the gum, up into the... It embeds itself like 5 inches up through the side of his tooth into his gum, and he screams in pain. And then his head goes down to the ground, and he's like trying to get the arrow out. He's got basically a splinter in his gum now. This is not enjoyable experience for him at all. And you have a second attack.
Get it!
Firing 1, you draw back and fire again. You do not get Planar Warrior on the second of the 2 attacks, but you do still have Hunter's Mark. Plus 1 arrows. The plus 1 is for attacks, not for damage.
Lucy needs braces.
That is 8 on the dice. 8 plus your modifier is not going to hit with a 16. 17 because of the plus 1 arrows. We have a disadvantage on the attack from the frightened condition. No, we do! Oh, we have disadvantage because of the frightened. So, I will say that you can use your inspiration to give yourself advantage and take that 20 instead.
Yeah.
So you've used your inspiration to give yourself advantage in the attack.
Yeah.
You took the first roll, which was the 20.
I bounced you guys' inspiration. That makes sense.
So now this is your second roll.
So can I say that like you were aiming that shot and like that fearful like presence was there, and then Coda goes, like,
yeah,
go!
And Coda's inspiration helps with your fear from the effect. Thank you for keeping me honest though, Cake Lad. I appreciate that a lot. Then we've got your second attack, which was an 8, so 16 total, 17 with the plus 1 arrow. 17 is going to miss unless you want to use your other reroll, which is the Lucky Horseshoe. You only get that once per day. If you want to use that, you can try and use it to reroll now. It looks like Luscifrique still has quite a bit of fight left in him. He's looking wounded, he's taken some damage, but he's got some fight left in him.
I love it so much because like Coda's like
quite
literally on the edge of like life and he's about to die. But this little owlbear adolescent's like, no, keep going.
Keep going, we can do this. Fight him, fight this evil. Keep it, don't use horseshoe. So, your second arrow almost hits with a 17. It strikes across like the arrows at the back, but it has too much of an oblique angle that it doesn't manage to drive through the scales into the body and skirts off instead. He is definitely going to change the target of his attacks now though, because that hurt a lot, and he realizes how much of a threat you are if he doesn't deal with you soon. So you've succeeded in getting his attention, let's say. End of your turn, he could use his legendary action, but he's already used both of them to do the wing attack. So it is now Briar's turn. Briar, sees that Coda is still very, very wounded, is going to use her last third level spell slot.
Thank you.
To come over and say, "Could you keep this clean for 1 minute?" She's going to rush over between the trunks and the roots here and reach out into the dream plane as a dream druid. Brings out this pot of salve and this time it's just the rest of it. She just sloshes it onto Coda's body and it down over the bite marks across the back. And you heal. Let's see how much you heal. A 6, 2, and a 1. Not as great this time. So that's 8, 9, and then 3. You take 12 points of healing back.
12?
12, yeah.
Okay, cool.
She got a 6, a 2, and a 1, so it wasn't the greatest roll this time. But it was pretty damn good last time.
We're on 28.
That's her action, her movement. She can't do anything with her bonus, so that is Briar's turn. It is now you, Coda. And and just hold that thought for 1 moment. Good job, Pockfun. Oh, you technically had movement, Pockfun. If you want to move from this tree or anything, you can try and do so with the rest of your movement. Otherwise, that was everything you could do. In the meantime, let's go with... And then the camera pulls focus over to the dragon. Man, I love it. I love this cinematic tail spire. It's great.
It's really, really, really pretty.
So just before I go down to Coda, Apis' frightened save. Oh, good. 17. 17 plus 2 from your wisdom is enough. You finally succeed on your frightened condition.
Let's go.
Now, Coda.
So, Coda is not one to listen. Coda's a rebel at heart and very defiant. Looks back, shakes towards keeping it clean.
Sorry,
and is going to start bounding towards the dragon.
Awesome.
And then I'm just gonna make an attack. Let's go.
And you've no idea how lucky you are that he failed his strength save at the beginning because Earthbind has no save that he can make against it at the end of each round. He just has to wait until Polython drops concentration on it.
Concentration, exactly. That's amazing. So Coda will try and position it in such a way that he can pull the breath weapon. So if I can go towards the edge of that fence,
come for me, right over here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that
if you want me in it, you're gonna have to. You can't get us all in it.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's either me or them.
So running down the side of the face, charging in. Does Coda stand up on back legs like proper bear style, or does he run on all fours and then stand up to attack?
Yeah, he runs on all fours. Yeah, he runs on all fours and then he can stand and he can jump and leap and stuff like that as well.
All right, make your attacks.
Okay, there we go.
You don't have advantage because it's just 2 of you. 3 of you surrounding him at the moment.
And it's just a straight roll.
Yeah, straight roll for this.
22.
22 hits. Roll damage.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, that's gonna be 4 slashing damage.
4 slashing damage. That every little helps.
That's it.
Cuts across some of the neck. There's some dark red blood starts to appear and pool.
I love it. Seeing the blood, Coda's pupils dilate, just like a shark with blood in the water. He's gonna go straight for that same spot.
Nice.
13.
13. You go for that same spot, but Luscifrique Luscifrique being such a smart dragon, knows how to fight tactically, knows animal behavior inside and out. Because he manipulates them and uses them as his army, so he knows that effect of go for the same spot. Once you've scratched once, he protects it, brings his head round to protect that area as the next attack misses.
I love it.
Is that everything you can do?
Brave little owlbear will look back defiantly, just like.
I love it. All right, that is back to the top of the round. Top of the round, lair action time. And then I'll count for the fact that the previous lair action happened. His lair action is the wall. He's going to keep the wall up so that we can fight as two distinct parties. But he's going to do the other thing, the grasping vines again. Actually, no. He's gonna drop the wall, but he's gonna resummon it so that it still keeps us as two separate parties. But he's going to resummon it through the spaces of some of those warriors, forcing them to take that as if they'd stepped into it. So the wall is still keeping you guys distinct from their fight, but he's drops it and then resummons it through the spaces of some of their warriors, causing them all sorts of damage and things. He's going to use his lair action to do 3 points of damage to the warriors. Lair action's done. Then it is top of the round. So because one of them was magically commanded by the magical fog, I'm just going to double check. Does that just last for one round? Magical fog billows around one creature, blah blah blah. Succeed on a wisdom saving throw, be charmed until the next lair action. So the creature that was charmed is going to attack, meaning that they'll do an automatic 1 extra point to the enemy, to the allies. So the enemy will do 2, so that's 3 points of damage to the allies, and then let's see if they. 51%, no, they do not get extra damage this round, but the allies are now down to 80%, which I will describe in a second. And then the allies do 1 point in return to the enemies. The enemy is also now on 80%. The enemies and allies are both down to 80%. How that manifests for every well, I won't want to give away too much, but for every certain amount that the percentage drops, one of the allies dies. One of the named allies. So let's bring up the named allies and see who's dying. Fondurg fighters. We have. It's not going to be Polythene because she's protected specifically. She's like more of a plot point than the others. We've got Charlie. Could be Mark. Could be Vala. Could be Rebecca. Could be Nathine, Maeve, Victoria, Ellie, or Yibble. So that's 9. I'll roll a d10 and reroll zeros. That was a 2. That was Mark the druid. Mark, one of the druids, the gnomon, half human, half gnome. He is no more, as he has been now taken out by one of the let's give him a more epic death. Oh, okay, I'll tie it into Polythene's thing. At this stage, you see that the badger, because one of the bad guys' main enemies has to die as well now. Yeah, I'll make it the badger. They'll take each other out. The badger has tunneled back under the ground, knowing that they can't get through the dome of Leomund's tiny hut. It has one major weakness, that spell. It does not come with a base. So while things cannot get through it, they can get under it. And the badger tunnels his way under. Mark, the gnomon, seeing this, realizes what danger Polythene is in and comes into the tunnel after the badger, chasing down after him. As he runs, he almost has to get on all fours through this tunnel, and as he's sort of running along all fours, he uses his wild shape, turns into some kind of, maybe like a mole or some kind of tunneling animal coming after the badger. The badger bursts up underneath Polythene's dome, opening it out to the rest of the party, the rest of the fight. Now they can now get in, but before the badger has time to bite down on Polythene and break her concentration on the Earthbind, Mark the gnomon comes in and sacrifices himself heroically, tearing at the badger's face with his claws that designed for tunneling and scratching and digging at rock and dirt. He scratches a big huge groove down the side of the badger's flesh, and the badger turns his attack, his poison breath spewing over the inside of the dome. As Mark and the badger fight in great ferocity, they both manage to tear at each other to the point where they die of each other's wounds. The badger is down, and so is Mark, as both parties are now down to 80%. Amazing. However, it has now opened up Polythene to attacks from the surrounding area, and as soon as she drops concentration, Luscifrique can fly again. That was all of the enemies, all of the allies, all of the lair actions. It is now Luscifrique's turn. Does he get his breath weapon back? Let's find out. Hey, Coda. You were you were trying to take that breath weapon, weren't you?
Yep. Yep.
However, he's not interested in you.
No.
You're a little owlbear that's looking very weak. You can die from a wing attack or something. He is not going to spend his entire action on killing you. No, he's going for that treacherous son of a bitch, that piece of shit Apis who he'd trusted, who'd managed to earn his trust through a series of, well, he didn't have a lot of choice after his Dragonborn died, let's be honest. But he was beginning to be forced into a position of trusting Apis, hoping for the best, hoping that Apis meant their word when they said that they would use their power over the planes and planar travel to mean that the dragon can rule over all. And then literally shot him in the back. He's going to take a step back so that he can get Mel, the militia, and Apis in it all at once. He's going to ignore Coda, but he's going to get everybody else in.
Good luck, everyone.
Apis is close enough to get in that cone. He's going to aim it upwards. As he takes a step back, does he leave Coda's range? He doesn't. Look, he's still in Coda's range there. So, as he rears back, forcibly forcing the projection of his poisonous chlorinated gas towards Apis up in the tree, I need Mel, the militia, and Apis to all roll Constitution saving throws.
Coda tried.
So that is a decent roll on both the militia and Mel, but I don't believe it's enough. No, the militia have a +0, so that's a 15 total, and will fail and will definitely die. The militia are fumigated, like insectoid, insect repellent. The militia are gone. And then Mel, who could die as well. She rolled even better. That was a 17. Mel's con is a +1, which is an 18. Is that enough? Let's see. I think it is. What's his poison breath? Yes, she manages to succeed. She takes only half the damage, and because she was in Fondurg as part of the preparation, she was also given a poison resistance. So if she succeeds, she takes half damage. She takes a quarter damage. So she is going to take a quarter of, where are all my d6s again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
This combat is no joke. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Alright, ooh, that's a lot of ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 of them are ones, Jesus. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19. 19 plus 4 is 23, 20, 28, 30, 34 points of damage, because they're all relatively low.
That's a lot of ones, guys.
She takes half of the 34, taking her to 17, half of that because of resistance, taking her to 9. So Mel actually survives that pretty well with single digits.
So good.
And then Apis. It's over to you for the Constitution saving throw. Let's see how we go. You are a dwarf, so you have advantage against poison resistant poison effects. That is an 8 or a 7. Do you wish to use your lucky horseshoe to re-roll your save against this poison, knowing that it will be 34 poison damage, which you will halve to 17. If you fail the save, you'll take 17 poison damage. If you succeed the save, you will take 9 poison damage. Do you want to use your horseshoe to reduce 8 poison damage, essentially? Put a thumbs up, yes, thumbs no down, just so I can get a general poll of how people are feeling.
Attack, it's safer for an attack. Best defense is... Oh, no.
You're on 50, what are you on? You're on 49 hit points out of 56. If you take the 17, you will be on 32 hit points remaining. Alright, most people saying no almost unanimously, so you do not use your lucky horseshoe to re-roll it. You're just going to take the fact that I rolled stupidly low on that damage. And take the 17 points of poison damage as the poison spews out to you in the tree there. Let's use something dramatic and effective here. It starts to dissipate again almost immediately. but the green fog hits you in the tree. You take 17, taking you down to 32 hit points remaining. That was not half your hit points. You're not wounded yet. 32 is not half of 56. So you're not yet under the wounded condition, but you're still good for now anyway. All right, that is his turn. He can still move. He can't yet fly. He's managed to take out all of the annoying bugs. Almost kill Coda. He'll be able to kill Coda with a wing attack probably on his legendary action. Let's see how that goes. Then I believe that is it, isn't it? Did I draw somebody for this turn? I forgot to do so, didn't I? Let's see who's in for this turn. Exclamation mark dragon. Whitepaw 27. All right, I see Whitepaw in the chat there. So Whitepaw, you have to decide. You've got Mel's turn in order to decide what to do. Can we use Planar Warrior? Yes, that's a bonus action, and you'll be able to do damage from that. But it's first Mel's turn, just in case that changes what you do. She has got the sting attack. She's used her swarms. Adrenaline injection doesn't work for now yet. That's everything she can do. It's just going to be a regular sting. She's going to go for the face, try and sting in the eyes. This is Mel's dice, yeah. So she gets a... I keep forgetting she's got a really good modifier. Yes, that's exactly what she needed. She got a 12, and I thought that's not going to be enough, but I forgot she's got a +7 to hit, because she's super dexterous. So 19 is exactly what she needed, meaning he takes another 9 points of piercing damage. Boss B, that's what she is. She's Queen B, and she's dressed in armor, and it's looking dope.
Get it, Queen.
Queen Bee. She strikes her stinger down, and it sticks in sort of the brow of his face. He's now got the arrow toothpick still sticking out of his mouth, and a bee sting. He's thrashing around. She disengages again. She's up in front of his face. Good on you, Mel. That is Mel's turn. The militia are no more. At the end of Mel's turn, he gets a legendary action. Which legendary action is he going to go for? He doesn't like that Mel's all up in his grill, so is he going to take her out? A claw attack, a movement attack, a wing attack. Coda, he can take out Coda and Mel if he hits them both. Yeah, he's going to do another wing attack. He's going to use both his actions. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to try and stay on your feet as he's sort of pushing you. You're trying to stay upright. Trying to avoid all the wind and the things that are... He's flicking up a lot of dirt and dust and rocks and flicking them at you.
Don't you fail us.
Mel also has to take one. Mel fails. She's going to take the whole thing.
Okay. 14.
14 unfortunately will fail. You and Mel will both take 8 points of bludgeoning damage and get knocked prone.
Alright, I'm on 20.
You're in 20. Disable flying. Mel is knocked to the ground. She is small enough that she doesn't take any bludgeoning damage from such a small height. She's knocked prone, as is Coda. He gets to use his... Does it say wing movement? It says he can then fly up to half his speed, so he can't actually move as part of that wing because he doesn't have a fly speed. He just kind of like backs up a little bit. Knocks you down. He seems frustrated and furious that he can't get off the ground. He once again screams in Draconic, "Kill the druids! Kill them! Focus fire!" Actually, from your position in the tree, I think you might be able to see. You can. Look at that. Look at this cinematic moment. Let me double check that you can actually see it on OBS, because sometimes I say you can see things without realizing that they're off screen for you. Over Apis' shoulder, the camera sees that as he screams this in Draconic, something seems to jump out of the water nearby and landing on a rock. This giant green toad joins the battlefield. That was another one of his commanders and his generals that you could have been aware of if you'd done like reconnaissance and things. Under his special mobility team, like the badger and the mole, who are good for digging, the crow, which was good for flying, the toad was the one that he uses for if he needs to transport anything across water and stuff. A giant green dragon toad joins the fight. There's some good toads. Alright, that was his legendary action. Boom, boom. You're still up, but prone. Mel's still up, but prone. Did I give her the damage before? I didn't. I didn't account for that. 8 damage, 21. So Mel is... What's her health? She's now looking wounded. Mel is now looking wounded. Whew, man, so much going on. What are we doing? White Paw, it's now Apis' turn. Yell to Mel and Coda encouragement. Planar warrior, shoot the dragon, do as much damage as possible. Grab Briar if possible, run away as far as possible away from the dragon. And Frog, try to hide behind a tree or something. The dragon has a hard time to get to us, even if flying. All right, it's a lot to do in a turn. You can attempt most of that things. So from your current position, you are up in a tree here. So getting down from this tree is going to be a bit of a mission. You can either use your bonus action to Misty Step down without any problem at all and just get on the ground and then use your movement to move away. You can use your Zephyr Strike to give you some extra movement. You would drop Hunter's Mark but do Zephyr Strike instead. And then with your extra movement you can get down and move away as far as you can. Or you can just use your regular movement to climb down the tree, which will get you pretty much to the bottom but not like any further than that. If you wanted to really run away, then you could forego the attack and do a dash as your action instead and do double your movement, essentially. So you can do some of those things, but not all. You can focus on the damage and stay by the base of the tree. You can focus on the damage, do Misty Step, and then get a little further away. But you can't do all of the things you've wanted to do in one single turn, White Paw. You can definitely yell to them encouragement, so you'll start with that. You got this, Mel! Get back to your feet! Get back to your wings. We can take him down. He's on the ropes. I don't know who you are, owlbear thing, but I'm glad you're fighting alongside us. If you're a friend of Charlie's, you're a friend of mine. Yell some encouragement to you for free. Planar Warrior is a bonus action, so you can shoot the dragon and do as much damage as you can with Planar Warrior, but then you wouldn't have a bonus action to do anything else like Zephyr Strike or Misty Step or anything like that. And so you'd just be using your regular movement to just climb down the tree. If you're cool with that, just move to the bottom of the tree, focus damage, but stay behind the tree. Gotcha, cool. So, bonus action first from your vantage up on the tree here. You're not... Oh, your Hunter's Mark, you are concentrating on that. So I first need to roll a concentration check to see if you get Hunter's Mark still.
17.
From the 17 damage that you took.
Should still be 10.
It's a DC 10 Constitution save, and if I take you back to the main page for a moment, you can see that your save for Con is +2.
8.
So you need to roll an 8 or more to maintain concentration on Hunter's Mark.
Let's get it.
That is a nat 1. That is a nat 1. Can you tell me, with a yes or no emote in the chat, do you want to re-roll that with your Lucky Horseshoe? You get 1 re-roll per day. So for the rest of the fight, this is your 1 re-roll. Do you want to use it or not? You are going to drop Hunter's Mark if you don't reuse it. Most people saying, no, we're not going to re-roll. So no, we're not going to re-roll. So as Apis was hit by this fume... You're coughing and spluttering, and it drops concentration on Hunter's Mark. By the time you've blinked the stinging sensation of the chlorinated gas out of your eyes, you look around and you can kind of foggily see through the green haze Luscifrique backing up and beating his wings, and Coda and Mel drop into the ground. And in that moment, the Hunter's Mark, you notice, has gone. So White Paw, you have an option now. You can still just do the Planar Warrior as your bonus action, or you can use your bonus action to recast Hunter's Mark. You can't do both. Which one would you prefer to do on your turn? Does it help allies for Hunter's Mark? No, it just gives you damage. Hunter's Mark gives you an extra d6 damage on every attack that hits, while you're concentrating on it. White Paw says recast. Alright, so instead of Planar Warrior, we are going to dig deep, realizing that the spell has faded with our concentration. Pulling up with the bow around the green fog around Luscifrique temporarily, raises again under your command, sticking only to Luscifrique, and aiding in the damage that you do with your bow. You cast that as your bonus action. As your action, you're going to make 2 striking attacks, which is not at advantage because he's not got a surrounded condition. 16 and an 18, so both of those will hit with your +8s.
Nice.
And you're going to do a d8 plus a d6 plus 3 on both of them. Let me try and get Apis' dice. d8 plus d6 is 9, 10, 16 plus 6 is 22 points of damage from both attacks. 22 points of damage. 80.
That's what we want to see.
Oh damn, he might have to start skedaddling soon because this is not looking good for him. This fight's not gone his way. Luckily for you, you've been rolling really well, and he's not been able to get rid of this thing yet.
Guys.
Yeah, no, he's still got some fight in him, but not a lot. He's got.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to get away. He'd rather live to fight another day, and he's got a long life ahead of him as a dragon. He can take his time to bide his time, and a revenge is a dish best served in 100 years when you've forgotten about it.
Best served poisoned.
And best served poisoned. Yeah, exactly. So that was your bonus action, Hunter's Mark. Action to do 2 strikes, and then your movement is to get down the tree, White Paw, and hide behind the tree, you said. So you will clamber on down this tree. Because there is a risk of failure and a risk of something bad happening, I will get you to make an acrobatics/athletics check, your choice. You're better at acrobatics, so I'll allow that one. 18 plus stuff, you're fine. You managed to get down the tree with the rest of your movement without dropping or hurting yourself, and you are sort of taking not hiding, you're not taking the hide action, but you are taking the cover behind the tree.
Nice.
Wonderful turn, Apis. Good job, White Paw. From this position and the fact you're a dwarf, pretty stocky dwarf, I'd say you've got half cover from him.
Nice.
At the end of Apis's turn, it is now Briar's turn. All right, Briar is noticing that she's looking bloodied. Coda is looking bloodied. Yeah, less than half health.
20.
20 of
39.
39. So you're not looking bloodied yet. Mel is. She is. Apis is not. What's she got? She's got animal kinship, animal friendship. She's got lots of animal spells, but she's also got cure wounds at 2nd level. She could do it on herself, keep herself alive. She would definitely do it on Mel if she could. She doesn't have the speed with her tiny little legs. She's only got 20 speed, so she ain't getting over to Mel, and it would put her in significant danger to do so. She's not stupid. So she's going to use Healing Word. It doesn't heal quite as much as Cure Wounds, but she can do it from range. So she is going to... What does it look like? We've done this one before with Briar. She's pretty cool. This time she puts her hand down into this sort of dream realm, and then she kind of like follows it in, and it's almost like she's turning herself inside out into this dream realm, and momentarily a dream version of her, kind of like barely there, ethereal almost, stands next to Mel and leans down to rub this salve on her, and she's going to use Healing Word at 2nd level.
Yeah.
Burning through her spell slots. 5 plus 3, she gets 8 points of damage back. So Mel's back down to 13, not looking bloodied anymore. And then no sooner has she done this that she takes herself back into her position. Briar is now back on the battlefield. Oh, she's looking wounded, so she is going to turn into something tanky. As a druid, she can do so. What would she turn into, everybody? What do you reckon Briar would turn into with a lot of hit points? She could turn into a giant pig, a giant boar. She could turn into a giant rat, a horse,
bear.
A bear. She could turn into a bear. She's now seen Coda.
Seagull. As a goose. As a goose.
She can't turn into anything that can fly. She's not that level yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair.
Red ape. She's not seen any apes in this particular forest. She can only turn into stuff she's seen. She can't turn into a gorilla or a giant ape. Bear. She has seen a bear.
The elk is cool.
Oh, a giant elk. Should we go in elk?
Yeah, I got antlers as well.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. She's seen an elk around this forest. She turns into an elk.
Hell yeah.
There we go. Yeah, so Briar will, as a bonus action, heal Mel, and then as her main action, as she's healing Mel, as she steps back through the dream realm, some of that dream quality maintains with her, and these antlers start to sprout from her head, much like Coda, and then her long legs snake out from her body, hit the ground with these huge hooves, and before you know it, standing there is an elk, ready to tank a few more hit points. Basically using Wild Shape as temporary hit points.
Love it.
Alright. that is her action, her turn. Is she gonna? I mean, if she's tanking, does she want to get all the way over there, try and distract from Coda? Yeah, she's gonna do that.
Movement.
She's gonna do that. She's gonna use her movement.
Would she want to save it for a charge?
Oh yeah, you can charge as an elk, right?
Definitely.
But yeah, she will. I tend to say with things that can say like charge abilities and stuff. If you use your movement at the end of your turn, and then no circumstances change between the two of you before you start of your next turn, you can still apply the charge effect because you've been moving in and turns are like happening at the same time.
So needs to move 20 feet straight forward towards the target.
Yeah.
If it then hits with a ram attack on the same turn, the target takes an extra 2d6 damage, 7 average. And then the creature must succeed on a DC 13 strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Yeah.
All right, I've got the ram attack here as well.
Yeah, I'll say... so it's the on the same turn part that I hand wave on my games. So like if you charge in at the end of your turn and then you're still next to them at the start of your next turn and you hit it with a ram attack, it's still like part of you've still got the momentum from charging in at the end of the turn.
Okay, cool.
So you could charge in now and then get the charge at the start of the next turn if Luscifrique's still there.
Sick.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Briar is going to do that. She's going to charge down between the two of you guys, getting herself right up there, ready to try and like interpose herself and be like, hit me instead. All right, she's tanked herself a little bit, giving herself some temporary hit points as an elk to try and take this guy out. That is her. Then it is Coda. Coda, you're up. You're on the ground. You've just been battered down by a wing attack.
Hells yeah. Okay.
As an elk comes charging over just as you're standing up. Almost tangle antlers together as you stand.
Stand up for half movement, so it means I've got 15 left. Is there a position where I could do the same thing before trying to pull attention away from the main group?
You could, yes. So I will say that if you're essentially trying to distract over this side's your best bet, because then he can still turn his neck towards you and get you.
Yeah. So I'm just really trying to split the decisions here. So
yeah. So he's not got like a big. Oh, they're all in a cone. He has to make his decision about who to go for. So you go around off to the side, you sort of jump over the prone bee and over to this side and try and hit with the antlers to get his attention over on this side of his wing.
Hell yeah.
You can see that his face is bleeding quite a lot from where you scratched him earlier and where some arrows are now sticking out of his gums. He's looking very worse for wear.
Coda gets ready to make...
There's some panic in his eyes.
Brings back the haunch and then just bounds forward to get some momentum and is going to try and bite with their beak. And as they launch forward, Coda's voice will crack a bit.
I like that. Adolescent voice cracking.
That's going to be...
For that. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's because
I'm going to use it straight away.
Through puberty.
I'm going to use it straight away because that was a 9, but I get a plus...
somebody asks a good question, some guy on the internet, because elks are size large, I presume? You got the stats up?
Boy. Yeah, large.
Large, yeah. So she is large, which means that you need 2 other mediums to surround. So yes, you do have these. Oh no, actually you don't, because Mel is prone and doesn't count as threatening. So you don't have the surrounded advantage on him yet.
Okay, so I get a 17. Will that hit?
17 unfortunately will not. His armor class is 19.
I'm gonna use my inspiration straight away then. That'll be a 24.
24 hits.
All right.
Trying to bite. You remembered for your 17 the warrior bonus, the +2?
Yeah. So it was a 9 and I added 8.
Cool.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Beat comes down. Snap, snap, snap.
That's going to be 11 damage.
Oh, nice. Oh, he really needs to get out of here. I'm always so bad at remembering to retreat as my enemies before. I'm always like 1 round too late in the retreat. They end up killing him before they get to retreat. Damn it, I should have retreated sooner.
So as that bite is like on the neck, the claws are going to come in and try and just like pull and push away.
Yeah, you've managed to bite into where your scratches hit the face before. You've now managed to bite a little bit further down on the neck. You'd scratched him on the neck on this side. Now you're going to bite him on this side. You managed to crack one of the beak comes in and like hits on both sides of one of the scales, and then as the beak crushes with the force of this bear-like mouth, it snaps one of the scales, which comes tearing off of the skin, and then your claws come into that space and try and hit it.
Let's go! that is going to be a 27.
27 hits. Roll damage.
Yeah.
Oh god. Is Coda gonna get the
Okay.
kill?
5.
Nah, he's still good for a while, I think. You've cracked 200. He's taken over 200 damage now.
And Coda will
Tears
land
and
back down.
scratches. You can't get all of those claws in as much as you would like. 5 damage to something this size is, on its own relatively superficial. So you managed to scratch off like half of one of the surrounding scales on his neck.
Hells yeah. Coda will pump out his chest and go, "Ow!"
I'm ready. You scratch and claw at this guy. He's definitely taken some damage. He's definitely not looking like he wants to stick around to experience the rest of this fight.
Yeah.
That is everything you can do, Coda. You're staying where you are.
Yeah. That's everything I can do.
Coda comes diving in, bites, scratches, disengages back a little bit by jumping in. Fighting.
Oh wait, that was a critical. Improved critical.
Was it 19? You rolled a 19.
Yeah.
You said you got a 24.
I got a 27.
You got a
So
27
the
total.
first one was 24 and 27, so 8
19
plus 19
is a crit for Coda.
Hells yeah. Yep.
So you rolled already, so just need to add on whatever the maximum would have been on the claw attack.
10. So
10.
15 total, so another 10.
All right, 212 damage. Holy
So
shit.
let's say it's delayed damage. So as he lets out that breaking voice roar, that's when something might happen in the neck. From where he was mauling.
So you back up. He turns his head to snap out at you, but where you scratched it earlier, that opens up some wounds on that side, which makes him kind of twinge as if he's just pulled something in that side. And then as he kind of rears back this way, you can see that there is a sudden gout of blood kind of pushes its way out of his neck, and twinging his head back over this way, the bite and claw that you've just done has just about torn and perforated one of the arteries, one of the veins, and as he twinged back over that way, that was enough to just pull it back open, and another 10 damage to him as more blood.
Love it.
He's looking weak and not enjoying the fact that you're all here.
Coda licks his snout.
That is Coda's turn. Back to the top of the round with lair actions. Okay, he might have to use lair action on you guys for once. He doesn't want attacks of opportunity from all of these things, so he might have to disengage, which means that he's going to have to use an action to fly. The action to disengage. Fly if he can do it. Hopefully they can get to Polython this turn. What's he going to do? What's his lair actions? He can grapple people. He can wall. Oh yeah, wall is probably the way to do it. Yeah, wall is going to do it. Oh, that opens him up to the army though. Crap. Oh no, he can tunnel himself. Tunnel, fly. I think that's what he's going to do. Alright, lair action. He drops the present wall. He resummons it in the immediate spaces around him, which forces itself through the space of Coda and the elk and the prone Mel. He basically creates like a little tunnel for himself in all directions around him. You get the idea. I don't want to spend all day trying to make it, but
yeah,
you get the idea. Dexterity saving throw from you, a dexterity saving throw from the elk, and dexterity saving throw with a disadvantage from Mel. She's prone. Mel fails with 2 4s.
17 for Coda.
17 for Coda. What's the dex save of the elk? Have you got the stats up there? That's not going to do it.
A 9?
9 plus
0 modifier, so just 9.
So 9 for the elk, 4 for Mel, and what was Coda's?
Coda got a 17.
17 succeeds. Well done. All right. So creature that fails the save takes. Oh boy, this is quite a lot of damage. Should have used this earlier. All right. D8. Another D8. Another D8. Another idea. Another idea. Another D8. The elk. What's the elk's hit points?
Hit points. Oh boy, 13.
13. I feel like that should
Yeah.
be more. What's the hit dice?
Hit dice 2d10 plus 2, so you could go to a max.
All right, yeah,
of
I'm
22.
gonna go 22 with that because that's
nice.
It seems too low for an elk. Which is good because she takes 19 points of piercing damage from one of these 5-foot thorny walls tearing through her person. Mel also takes 19 points of damage, which takes her to. Ooh, she is looking very badly injured. Mel is caught up and tangled in these roots and thorny vines, and not looking Well, she's down to single digits. Then Coda, if you succeed, pushed 5 feet. This is why he did it, because you are pushed 5 feet from the wall space, appearing on whichever side of the wall that the creature wants. However, because he summoned it like right up against him, you can't appear in an occupied space. So you and the elk, Mel and the elk who failed. She is pushed out this side of the wall. Mel is also pushed out this side of the wall. Are you pushed out of the wall as well? You succeeded on the save.
There is a little bit of space there, but I'll leave it up to your discretion.
Creature can move through the wall slowly and painfully. I will say that because you succeeded on the save, you are still pushed from the wall. You still take half of the damage, which I said was, 19? So half of that rounded up, 10 points of damage to Coda.
10 points? Okay.
And then because you succeeded, I'll say that you do manage to get pushed out into one little bit of space on this side, like under the wing.
I love it. Let's go.
That's his lair action. You're still standing?
Still standing.
The elk's still standing. Mel is still standing just. His lair action. Then it is the enemies, the army. Let's see if they can get to Polython. What was the previous lair action? It was this one. They've dropped it. Oh boy, the army can do some stuff now. Yes, 4. Alright, so 4 takes you down to 76. And then let's see if they can roll above that. Oh, you son of a bitch.
What was it, a 20?
No, it was a 76, so it was a percentile, and they needed to roll above 76 to get the allies, and they did. They rolled exactly 76, so they took another 4 as well. They maxed out both. 72. So, and then allies in retaliation do 3 more points to the enemy. 73. Let's roll above that. Oh, 93. Yes, so they do another 3 points to the enemy as well. 2. Takes you down to 75. So the enemy's down to 75%. The allies are down to 72%. And unfortunately, you notice that as you are pushed out of the thorny wall into the space with Luscifrique, you see that the yellow bands that are crawling up out of the ground, perpetually replacing themselves as they grab his wings and pull him down, and he shakes them off and then more grab him. You see that those yellow bands get significantly less and less intact, less and less corporeal, until he bats his wings and he seems to have thrown off the Earthbind as Polython has been attacked and dropped concentration.
Oh no.
That is the lair action and the off-screen fighting action. It is now, let me double check, that's Luscifrique's turn. Alright, Luscifrique. He damn well needs to get out of here. He is going to use... What does Coda look like? Is he on last legs?
Coda's on 10.
Yeah, so he's looking wounded. He knows that if he leaves, he could get an attack from this damn owlbear. What is Luscifrique left on?
I will also just pros that dash action if wanted to get away real fast.
Yeah.
The temptation would be there.
He does want to get away. He wants to get... Most importantly, he wants to get above the canopy because he knows that Apis can't shoot him if he's above the canopy. He knows that Apis... If he just flies, he can't... Mind you, he's only got... With 80 feet movement, he can get above the canopy regardless. So he doesn't have to dash to get out of sight of Apis. Apis needs to then use their movement to get above the canopy to then take a shot, a long shot. Oh, hey Rob, you know how on Luscifrique's sheet it says legendary resistance and you never used it for that?
Yeah.
Hey, that's good. Good work. Good work, mate.
Ain't nobody got time for legendary resistance.
Got time for that.
Yeah.
All right. He is going to... Does he claw? Does he bite? Does he use a multi-attack, claw attack, and then just bite? Yeah, I think he tries to take out Coda before he flies away.
Pray for Coda. Pray for Coda.
Does he dash? Does he take him out? Dashing means he really has time to get away, and he's taking a shot.
Be 160 feet if have 80, which is in long shot range, like you said.
If you take an attack at him and hit, it could be all over. What would he do? He can't risk the attack of opportunity. He can't risk disengaging as an action. He might as well take you out. So yeah, he's going for Coda. It's the only thing that would be smart enough for him to do, and he does have an intelligence of 18, so he is going to do the smart thing.
100%.
All right, this is going to be a multi-attack. He's going to go a bite. He's going to go to a bite and 2 claws. He can't hit you with his tail from where he is.
Spicy.
Oh, also, does he get his breath weapon back? He doesn't.
Spicy.
All right, the bite is a 20 to hit.
That hits.
I'm just going to roll the damage for that first, because he might not bother taking his claw attacks, because why waste time killing a bear when he can get the hell out of there? So he bites. He hits you for... This is going to be a decent chunk of damage. Yeah, that's 13 plus stuff. That's 18 points of piercing.
18 down.
And 6 points of poison, but that doesn't. The total of that, what was it? 18 and 6, 24. 24 didn't take you below half your below your maximum hit points, so you didn't
Maximum 39.
die. So you go down to the ground. Coda is knocked prone. And unconscious, and behind a very large wall of shrub that it's going to be very difficult for people to get to. He could take attacks to finish you off, could just strike, but he's not bothered about that, because the more times he takes to stay here, he just wants you down. He bites you, and then he takes this guy out of the 10-foot wall. He looks very well wounded around the face. A lot of the targets of the attacks of you guys have been to his face specifically. So he's lost a lot of blood around his neck and his face, and his eyes are scratched up and things like that. So he needs to get the hell out of here. This is so close. He uses 80 feet of movement. Straight upwards. Out of the canopy of the tree. And then once he's out of the canopy of the tree, which is about 40 feet, he uses the rest of his 40 feet to go in a particular direction that you can't see because, he's above the tree line. Apis, you are immediately reminded of a dream you had not too long back. When you managed to succeed on hunting a Sasquatch, and by doing so pleased the god of the hunt, Altamez, and you were in the canopy, you were in the higher branches of a tree when you saw a dragon taking off and flying into the distance, and from that distance you hunters marked it, and knew that your quarry would be able to be found. So even if he gets away, you have hunter's mark still on him, active at the moment. Luscifrique has vacated the battlefield for now, but if you can get above the canopy, you might be able to see him. That is his turn. Movement, action, bonus action. That's everything he can do. Mel, who is prone, will stand to her feet for half her movement, which is 25 feet. 25 feet she is then going to take to the sky, seeing where he went. She's going to give chase. She's going to follow. She goes 25 feet up, not quite to the canopy. She gets up towards the canopy, but not quite through it. I said 40 feet for the canopy. She's going to use the dash action. She gets above the canopy with another 15 feet. And then she buzzes in a direction. Let's make a perception check for you to see if you can tell from the noise of Luscifrique's wings and the noise of Mel's wings which direction they are going. 14 plus your forest perception, plenty enough. You can tell the direction that he's going is from where you are on the map. It would be... He's heading north. Pretty much just straight north. And she's giving chase as well, but she's not managed to catch up to him yet. Not too far behind him, actually. She's pretty close. She's catching up with a dash. She's giving chase to him. Whether that's a smart idea when she's on single hit points or not, that's up to her. I believe that's everything she can do. At the end of his turn, he's going to use a legendary action to use the move action. Fly another 80 feet. And then it is Apis' turn. He is putting on a spurt. He is dashing. Apis, did I ever end up rolling for it? I didn't, I forgot. Mil Z. Mil Z, are you in the chat? Milzy, alright, you are in the chat, and it is your turn to decide what to do on this round of combat. There is still a ferocious battle playing out down at the ground level between the army and the bad guys, but your quarry, Luscifrique, the green dragon, has taken to the skies and is dashing away. You are in the trees, but you are not above the canopy yet. If you want to... Actually, you're not in the trees, you climb down. Ooh, I forgot about that. You are in the bottom of the tree. If you want to climb up to see where he went, you can misty step and then use your movement to climb, and then potentially get above the canopy at that point and at least see where he's going. He would be at least 120 feet from you. You could take a long shot with your bow and arrow. If we were to Zephyr Strike our way up, could we get within range to shoot? Potentially. He has taken a legendary action and his movement to get above the canopy and away. So you'd have to use at least a misty step and movement or a dash action to get to the top of the tree. Zephyr Strike. If you cast Zephyr Strike, you would drop Hunter's Mark on the dragon. What do you want to do, Milzy? Sorry that I didn't give you more time to think. I forgot to draw the thing early.
Don't forget to breathe, guys.
Don't forget to breathe. This is so close.
Yeah.
You know how I give my monsters a low range, middle range, and high range to their hit points so that I can kill them when it makes like story sense within that?
Yeah.
He got real close to his high range. If you ever get to the high range, even if it hasn't been like story sense, I'll just kill them, because you got him almost to the point where I can't fudge his hit points anymore, and he just has to die.
Yeah. It's such a great.
It's like seriously, maybe one attack in it. He's
Come on, guys, for glory.
Milzy, Misty Step, movement, top of the tree, make our shots to kill. Alright, let's do it. We've still got a single reroll. Let's see if we can take Luscifrique out and not have him returning villain. Because I guarantee with his intelligence and his resources, if you do not kill him, there's a very good chance he comes back as a returning villain later. So, once again,
chat.
Misty Step to the top.
We need more hype in chat. Let's go.
There we go. Alright, clambering up to the top of the tree. Because there is a chance of failure, you could slip, you could fall, you could hurt yourself. There is a chance of failure of you climbing this tree in this very, very time-sensitive moment. I will make a check for it because there is a chance of success, chance of failure. You have to make an athletics. This is not an acrobatics check. This is an athletics check because you are straight just forcing your way up this tree as quickly as you can. There's no like parkouring your way up. Is that too harsh? Is that too harsh? I'll allow it to be parkour. All right, why not?
Guys, gods, listen to us.
Bounced out of the thing. Here we go.
Guys, gods.
11.
Be hype.
11 plus your acrobatics is, I think, a +3. Let me double check on this one. So your dexterity, you do have... athletics would have actually been higher. That's a +4. So you'll use your athletics to get up the tree. I thought your dexterity would have been higher. So with your athletics of +4, takes you 11 to a 15. 15 is enough to use your movement to burst from the canopy. As you stick your head from the canopy of this forest, you quickly glance to the north, knowing that that's the direction he went. And roughly, give or take, 120 feet away is this green dragon, wounded and flying, dripping blood from himself, and flying north. You have an action left. You have 2 attacks. And you're going to make them both at the dragon. Now, you are using a longbow, aren't you? Longbows do not have disadvantage at this range, I believe. Let me double check that, because so rarely comes up that you have to actually worry about such long.
150. It's after 150. It's
150 is it? 150. So he's damn close. So he's damn close. He is not disadvantage range yet. He had to use some of his movement to get up. If he had,
this is why we saved the horseshoe, guys.
If he had not attacked Coda and taken the attack of opportunity and hoped that Coda missed, then he would have been able to dash, and he would have been out of range of your bow, and you would have had disadvantage on this attack. But he had to make that call in the moment. All right, Apis, you have 2 attacks. I'm going to roll them both at once. I'm going to quick prayer to Altamez in thanks for the Hunter's Mark gift. You do so, yeah. You get to the top. You see him retreating. You know that if this dragon gets away, it will be a bane on not your existence, but he will take his anger out on towns. He will kill others because of your deed failing here today. So you pray to Altamez. You remember the dream. You remember the dream that you had of this exact moment of the dragon flying away from you and you hunters marking it. And you draw out your bow. You take out both arrows at once and you cross them in your hand as you place them into the bowstring in reverence to the crossed arrow holy symbol of Altamez, god of the hunt. And you pray a little prayer. God Altamez, guide my arrows true. You draw them back. You let one of them go to the side so you don't actually fire them crossed because you're not an idiot. You fire them. Both arrows flying forwards at great speed with Hunter's Mark ready to go. You get a 4 and a 6.
Horseshoe!
Horseshoe! With Horseshoe we get to reroll one of those.
It's up to you guys!
With Horseshoe we get a 4 or a 6 or a 4 and a 17!
Yeah!
Oh my god, I really wanted him to come back. But I don't think he's gonna unless you roll really low on... In fact, I don't think you can... No, you can. You can still let him go. He hasn't... If you roll really low on damage, he doesn't die. Because one of the arrows flies far, the other one flies true and hits him in one of the some rear end area, hits him in one of the scales, hits him through one of the wings, makes him drop.
Hypes in chat.
You've got a D8 for the bow. You've got a D6 for the Hunter's Mark, and you've got +3.
Come on!
I will tell you, so that you know I'm not fudging it, he is on 12 hit points left. His maximum damage, his maximum range was 224. He is on 212. He's got 12 hit points left. So with the +3 from your longbow, you need to roll 9 or more on a D8 and a D6. What's the average of that? 3.5, 4.5. That's an average of 8. So you need to roll above average. I'm feeling every bit of Fred's excitement. I'm going to roll a D6 first. That's a 4. That's above average. You need to roll a 5 or more on the D8 to kill him. That's an 8! That's an 8! And Luscifrique is dead! Oh my god, by 3 hit points.
Oh my gosh!
It came down to 3 hit points on whether you would kill him or whether he would come back for vengeance at a later date and get vengeance on you. Hypes in the chat, please. I've got goosebumps. Holy cow, I feel like I'm actually playing a warrioring here. You playing a war. You get to the top of the tree. You say this little prayer to Altamez. You see one of them go loose, and the other one flies. It seems to almost miss, and then in the updraft beating of Luscifrique's wings, it seems to make this torrent of this turret of wind out the back of him, almost like a wind elemental. From you see almost like a glint of recognition from the plane of air off to your long-range horizon in the north west of you. You see this air elemental almost spin out from Luscifrique's wings and guide the arrow upwards. It cuts through his back end. It cuts through a section of his wing and into below the jaw. As it strikes through below the jaw, it actually pushes on, Robin Hood style, on the arrow that is still sticking into his tooth from above. It pushes it in from behind and drives that one further up. It comes out the front of his eye. And his head whips to the side and drops with a great force. Boosh! Smashing through trees, smashing through wood, smashing into a log. You see some of the canopy break and smash and fall as the force of Luscifrique cracks against the forest floor. Apis, you are not quite out of the woods yet, both literally and figuratively. I tell you what, actually, I'll do. It's an epic moment, so let's play the epic music again. The Twitch Tales theme song. As you were standing up at the top of the tree, taking your arrow, it flew through the air, and it struck Luscifrique in the back of the head, and then his head twisted to the side and dropped through the trees. Victorious! There you are. How perfect. You are victorious in defeating of Luscifrique. However, he still has captives. He still has the green dragon creatures fighting for him. He still has the critters of the forest. Actually, the critters of the forest he does not anymore have command over. And with the addition of Apis to join the fight, Mel to join the fight, Briar to join the fight, and Coda to join the fight, and the removal of lair actions and legendary actions, the battle is now turning in the Allies' favour. I'm going to, for the sake of expediency, I'm going to roll a few dice here to see kind of how it turns out. Rather than a d4 each round, the Allies are now, with your help, rolling a d6 each round. So the enemies will take 4 from the Allies, taking you below, taking you down to 68%. Nice. Roll this one, and then they roll a 39, so they don't get extra this round. And then you guys get 2 points off of them, taking them to 73. Let's see if you roll above a 73. You do not. So below you, taking you below 70 means you lose another of your allies. Polython is now on the battlefield as a potential for being lost. We've got Polython, we've got Charlie, we've got Briar, who is now a possibility to be lost. Polython, Charlie, Briar, Vala, Rebecca, Nathine, Maeve, Victoria, Ellie, and Yibble. 10 named NPCs that are in this fight. Which one are we going to lose? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. Oh, this is interesting. I wonder if you'll be able to bring her back. As you join the fight, victorious at this defeat over Luscifrique, you get to the ground. Oh, and by the way, you also used your Misty Step. So that's gone. As you Misty Step to the ground using your last level 2 spell slot, you have 2 level 1s remaining. And as you join the battle, you see... how does she go out in a blaze of glory? One of his other... The giant toad. You see the giant toad's tongue comes whipping out across the battlefield, and it seems to strike against a woman holding some kind of purple plate in front of her, purple plate of energy. And as Vala gets struck in the back from this tongue, and then whipped backwards into the mouth and swallowed of this giant green dragon toad, it seems like the end for her, until the toad reaches and retches, and its gula sack bursts open, and Vala, falling to the side, covered in toad acid, falls down unconscious next to the toad. She's taken out the toad, but she has fallen to her injuries as well. Unfortunately, that's the way the dice rolled. There was a 1 in 10 chance for each of them. Vala got it. The battle is, however, starting to go in your favour. A couple more rounds of it. They take 1 more point from you. Ooh, 48 now. 1 more point from you, and you take another 5. And, 62? No. 5 from them. So they take down to 68. You're on 66%. Both fights are going pretty tooth and nail towards one another. It's pretty even. Apis, essentially, for expediency's sake, Apis has the opportunity to either help the knights clean up the remainders. Most of the big half-dragon creatures of Luscifrique's are either dead or not at this battle, like the half-dragon fox that is up in his second town, or the half-dragon mole that was said to sent on a duty to go and look around the forest. You know he has a half-dragon hedgehog that's still out there somewhere. So you know that he has some battalions still are dotted around the forest. You also know that he has a lot more creatures that weren't able to get here in time for the battle. So you can. So I will say that because you've got the advantage over them now. Over time, you will lose another NPC. I'm going to roll again, and then once you've lost the next NPC, you will also essentially just win the battle. You'll get to the point where most of the dragon creatures will see that their master has died at that point, and self-preservation will kick in. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rebecca, the other of the Arcanists Entente. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Wizards are squishy, so they've gone down in the fight. Rebecca, the Illusion Wizard, and Vala, the Evocation Wizard, have both fallen. The Arcanists Entente have taken a huge hit from this particular battle. Why do the NPCs have to die? Why not the King's Army? The King's Army are dying, but they're also have a lot more hit points than NPCs. They have poison resistance. They are trained in battling. So there were a couple of the King's Army have died as well, but they're unnamed NPCs. I didn't describe them dying. They were just as part of the background battling. After the death of Rebecca, the tide has turned enough in your favour that the remaining of the creatures disperse, and Apis is left with the option of continuing to press with the King's Guard and driving to defeat the remainder of the dragon creatures, or you can now turn your attention back to Fondurg, get back to safety, help them rebuild at Fondurg. Anything that you want to do with there, you are essentially at a crossroads of decision to be made, and that's the decision that we will begin with at the start of next turn. However, Apis first walks over to an owlbear that seems to have appeared out of nowhere, summoned by Charlie to aid them in this fight. Is there anything you wish to say to this owlbear, and what does this owlbear do in response to Apis approaching? Oh yeah, okay, interesting. So let's see, because there would have been. Let's check the initiative order. Luscifrique went, Mel went, Apis went. Then it would have been Briar's turn before you. Briar would have seen him go. She can't chase him. She knows you're on the inside. But there's nothing she can do. Healing word. Oh, that's a good question. Does the wall dissipate? The wall sinks back into the ground when the dragon uses this lair action again, or when the dragon dies. It's right there in black and white. The wall, as on Briar's turn, as the wall is crumbling away, she instantly sees that as a good omen, but then sees it followed up by a terrible sight of the owlbear that fought ferociously at their side, lying unconscious on the ground, bleeding profusely from a huge, very deep bite wound. She rushes to Coda's side. She's used level 3, she's got level 2. She reaches into the dream plane. I want something different. What would she do? What's a dream? Oh, here we go. She reaches into the dream plane and brings out a circle of copper metal, and twinned across this circle of metal are these threads that seem to grow in number as she brings it out over the top of Coda's unconscious body. They seem to be absorbing and attracting thoughts and memories and feelings and emotions that Coda has experienced in life as Coda's soul is preparing to leave his body and enter the outer planes of existence. Most of the souls and memories are fragmenting and coming out at different times out of the body, and only a druid of such a background, a dream's background, would be able to see them as the soul is starting to leave. She brings out essentially this dream catcher, and these souls are attracted to it, and as soon as they hit one side, they sort of form themselves into these weaves of a thread that link across to the other side. Weaves hit from all direction and thread interspersing themselves and weaving in and out of one another until different threads of different colours have left this sort of cross-stitch pattern between this circle of metal. The cross-stitch pattern is of Coda standing victorious over the body of a green dragon. And then she brings the circle down and places it over the major wound of Coda's body and casts Cure Wounds at 2nd level. And you will recover only 6 hit points because she rolled terribly, but it stops you dying. Yes, she places this down over your body as Coda had failed 2 death saving throws and was on death's door.
Yeah.
It sort of captures and stops the dreams and the souls and the memories that is leaving Coda's body and returns them, sort of reflects them back into Coda's body, stitches up that wound,
And Coda's eyes open as Apis approaches.
Hells yeah. Coda will nuzzle into Briar in appreciation, and then shakily get to his feet.
She scritches you on the top of the little owl head, and then as you get to your feet, you just absolutely tower over. She just kind of like moves her scritches down to like your upper leg, as you're standing towering over her. Apis approaches, as does the sound of a what would he be, a gigantic direwolf, let's say. As this direwolf comes charging in as well, it arrives and then stands up onto its upright feet. And as Coda goes to start attacking it, Coda, you recognize this instinctively as your summoner. As his body shifts back down into his humanoid form, his half-elven form, Charlie stands before you and says, "Well, that worked. Much greater than I could have imagined. First time I've tried such a spell from different multiverses. I hope my friend Coda was able to help you, Apis." And he comes over and gives you scritches behind the ear. He's one that I've met in a dream before, and I figured we could use his help. You run up and you give them a hug, Kukria. You run up and give Coda a hug. If Coda reciprocates. Coda allows.
Coda leans straight into the hug.
Straight in, poof, leans right into it. Big old bear arms come around, gives you a big bear hug. And as the bear hug is squeezing tight, there is a weakening of the muscles as Coda starts to illuminate in light, in the same radiant light that flashed Coda into existence. Coda dissipates into fragments of that light, and Charlie says, as you disappear, "Until we meet again, old friend." And as Apis is left with the chance to either continue pressing the fight or go back to aid Fonderg, that's where we'll pick up next time. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to Josh, the dreaded GM, who has joined me for today's session. And thank you to everyone in the chat for being here for this epic ending to the Luscifrique arc. We'll see what happens next time. Bye-bye. Damn, that was an exciting episode, wasn't it? If you want to be a part of the Hive Mind Live and actually contribute to the story, you need to go over to Twitch and drop me a follow. Thank you.